on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
To pitch. Got him! Jeff Hoffman strikes out Cody Bellinger, and the Blue Jays have done it.
What a tremendous Thursday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show, of course, as well as it's Sports 1440, YouTube, X. We're there. Say hello. Say hi. Go see Declan in the chat room. Give him a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. We will very much appreciate it. As always, our show is presented by PlayAlberta.ca. The Daily Grand is up today. Your chance to win $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. That's $7.3 million. It's pretty good at PlayAlberta.ca. And hey, you know what? Somebody won the Lotto Max on Tuesday. So guess what? Hopefully it was you. Have some fun. Plan ahead. We got lots to discuss on the show today. Landon Ferraro, our regular Thursday guest, will talk about some Oilers. Jamie Campbell will be by talking Blue Jays as they have moved on to the ALCS. 8 pitchers combined to limit the Yankees to 2 runs. Stranded a lot of base runners. And then the Jays got some timely hits. First inning, Vladdy Guerrero. Then you had Ernie Clement, who just continues to come up with huge hits, gets on base, scores runs, takes balls in the shoulder. Guy's doing everything, right? Miles Straw comes up. You need an insurance run just to make it a little bit more relaxing. Comes up with a little bloop single, and away they go. And the Jays full marks for that win. The bullpen, like you talk about when a team wins, when you have 8 different pitchers who contribute to a win, you're feeling pretty good about themselves. And they have the day off today. I'm likely sure they'll be watching the Detroit-Seattle Game 5 tomorrow night. And then the Jays will host Games 1 and 2 on Sunday and Monday. And looking ahead to that Detroit, it looks like Skubal's pitching for Detroit in Game 5, which means if they win, he's unavailable for Game 1 and 2 against Toronto. So that's it's a big one. Seattle has yet to announce their starter, and hey, they got good starters, but they don't have anybody like Skubal. So we'll see. Tonight, Milwaukee and the Dodgers will try to join the Jays in the championship series. Of course, they'd be on the other side of the National League. And we'll see. Meanwhile, the Cubbies at home, Phillies on the road, both won yesterday. They'll try to stave off elimination one more time. Hey, I'd like to see at least one of them win, because then we'll have a Game 5 Friday, and then we'll have another elimination game potentially on Saturday. And I like that there's really no rest. Well, there is for the Jays. If you win, they would have had one day off, and away they go again. I like it. It's great. Of course, last night, the Edmonton Oilers, hey, they got off to a great start. They're up 3-0. They're in cruise control, and then the wheels fell off. And I know the Stuart Skinner on the third goal, not good. But the demise into the ditch started well before that. Their play in the last half of the second period was horrific. Started with McDavid's line. Like, they had about a minute and a half of just turnover, couldn't get out of their zone, sloppy passes, sloppy plays, and it just fed over. And then Calgary, did they get a break? Sure. They fired the pass into the slot. It goes off Phil's skate. No chance for the goalie. It's in the back of the net. Now, shouldn't have happened. Edmonton had complete control in the offensive zone, and Nurse just, what was he, 15 feet inside the blue line? Like, there was lots of major errors outside of Stuart Skinner. Stuart Skinner made a big one, no question. He explained it. We'll hear his comments on it. Hey, you know what? It didn't react very well, and when you make a bad play, you look really bad. It's true. Now, if that was one where Stuart Skinner's going side to side and can't get across, you'd have bigger concerns, because that's kind of been an issue. He actually made good saves in the game, especially late in the third and into overtime, but he had a brain fart. And at some point, those got to go away. But the Oilers as a team, you're up 3-0. I'm sorry. Yeah, so Stuart Skinner made one mistake. That's one goal. What about the other two? Okay, they allowed Calgary to get back in the game, a team that's not remotely as skilled as the Oilers. But here's the thing. I don't think the Oilers 5-on-5 generated very much at all. And I'll say this. Now, I know Hyman's not in the lineup, so that's going to change because when Hyman comes in, Frederick goes down, and he's likely in your bottom six because you got to have a little bit more sandpaper in your bottom six. I look at the Oilers lineup, and they can keep adding skill. They add Jack Roslovic. We'll get into that. It's great. You need some guys in skill, but you need some guys who will be physical and who can play different styles. And that's going to be something to monitor throughout the season. When I look and say, okay, if you can't get a big high scoring winger, then you better get some guys with a little bit more sandpaper. Ideally, you'd find a guy who can do both. Really hard to do. But I look at certain players, and man, I love the first period. I thought in the first period, the Philp line was playing great. But then they just slowly kind of didn't notice him much rest of the game. And for a big, heavy line, I'd like him to be a bit heavier. No, Trent Frederick's got to be more physical. McDavid and Draisaitl, did they generate much 5-on-5 in the game last night? Not really. So, Stuart Skinner's going to wear the goat horns because his play is one that just you can't make. No reason to make it, but make no mistake. I thought the Oilers, they get up 3-0, and it's like foot off the gas. We're coasting. Their 5-on-5 play was meh. Nice goal by Mangiapane. But those are the only two. That was the only goal they scored 5-on-5. How many other really good chances? And then they get to the shootout. They score 1 goal in 8 shots from the shooters. 1. So, hey, that's part of the game. Right? You got to find a way to beat the goalie. And it's not like Wolf had to make spectacular saves either in the shootout. So, Stuart Skinner, you just can't have that brain fart in the game. You just got to get out of your game. It's that simple. It's that simple. And yes, I understand it's only one game. We know what happened last year. They got absolutely demolished in their season openers and still went to the Cup final. I get it. But there are certain trends that you would like to eliminate. Now, the Oilers are going to have bad games. And there's going to be a misplay. Because that, like Stuart Skinner, that's going to be on the misplays of the month, guaranteed. Now, will it rank number 1? Probably not. But it'll be up there. It'll probably be in the top 10 misplays of the month of October. Right? TSN, Sportsnet, they both do it. I'm sure you'll see it again. So they happen across sports. They'll probably have another misplay. It doesn't look great when it's the first game of the season. And there's lots of eyes on that position. So that's just a reality of the position. Can't make that play. Full stop. Can't make the play. But the rest of the game, I had no issue with Skinner's game. I actually liked his play in the third period, especially late on the penalty kill and into overtime. It's fine. But can't make that play. And the Oilers, 5-on-5, I didn't love their offensive game, to be honest. I didn't see them. They were up because of the power play, and the power play was good. Really nice tic-tac-toe from McDavid to Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins in the first one. I really like the Tomasic play to find Draisaitl's 400th career goal in the second power play goal. Awesome. Mangiapane, hey, hell of a shot. Awesome. But outside of Mangiapane's shot, Connor Halley, do you recall Dustin Wolf having to make many real great saves 5-on-5?
No, not really at all. And like you said, I think you can blame Stuart Skinner, and that's fair. That goal should not have happened. But, the Oilers had a power play in overtime. Don't get the job done. The shootout, like you said, with the weapons that they have and the shooters, the skill, can you not get one past Wolf at some point? Loved the effort from Captain. Just to throw that out there. But you know what? Yeah, I think that it was not their best game. And at times, like, I wouldn't say it looked like the 9th preseason game, but they looked a little bit not into it as much as they should have been for that game, and how amped up that crowd was to get things going. So, yeah, that was one they definitely let slip through their fingertips. But one game, let's see how they respond from it on Saturday night.
I get a sense because the Jays won. It's a playoff game, and there's lots of excitement around. There's lots of people who are Jays fans, and you know what? It was an entertaining game to watch prior, kind of leading up to the game, and I think most Oilers fans understand it's one game. At the same time, Here's the truth for Stuart Skinner. There's going to be a lot of eyes on him. Now, he's going to have a bad game because everybody has a bad game. That's fine. But he's got to eliminate the 10 bell errors. Now, like what he said, he goes, you know what? That's an easy one. It's not going to worry about it. Hey, next time you shoot the puck and I just put it in the corner. It's valid, right? I didn't see a lot of positional errors from him. Didn't see him struggling getting across the ice, so that's good. But you can get beat on goals. That's going to happen. Some shots are going to beat you. But the gift goals, and especially early on in the year, it's kind of a time. I think if that's game 56 and, Skinner's made at that point 38 starts and he's played pretty well, people are like, whatever. But it's game 1. In a 3-2 game, in the first minute of the third period, and there's no reason to do it. And so now the spotlight becomes more intense. And like some people have decided Skinner's never the answer, and that's fine. I'm not sold that the organization feels that way yet. We'll see. But Stuart Skinner has to, for himself, find ways that those become much more irregular. If it's one every 10 games, okay. It can't be one every 3. That's just the reality of the situation for him. And, there's more spotlight on him. It wasn't the only reason. That's one goal, right? They allowed 3 goals. One, he was the culprit on. Sure, there's culprits on the other goals. Now, the extent of the error was higher. If we're just going ranking the errors, hey, this one goal error, that one ranks higher than any other goal errors. That's fair. Like you can't, Darnell Nurse in the offensive zone, don't like it, but it's not at the same level because you have a guy literally touch the puck and it's in the net. Calgary still had to come down the ice. Lots of things had to happen before that goal went in. So it's just a different level. Not every mistake is the same. They're just not. Now, it's kind of weird trying to think the last time the Oilers signed a player during the game, but they announced last night that Jack Roslovic is coming to Edmonton. He will arrive today, and he will be on the ice tomorrow for the Edmonton Oilers. And whenever now the Oilers can file his contract with the league, the move they make might come down today. They could put a guy even on waivers tomorrow if need be, and he's not part of the practice because they, their game day rosters until the next day. And it's kind of like on game day, you can send a guy down. He's just not eligible on that day. So it all works fine for your team. They would be compliant in that regard. But now they got a decision to make. So Roslovic comes in. He had a really good year last year, 22 goals, 19 of them at 5-on-5, 21 at even strength. He led the Carolina Hurricanes in 5-on-5 goals and points, 19 and 34, which now it's not a huge number, but still it's pretty good as far as the points total is. Like 19 5-on-5 goals is nothing to complain about. That's unreal. And so I look at Roslovic and I'm curious to see where Knobloch puts him in. It sounded like from Stan Bowman, the guys mean skating. Does he have to practice? It's not like they have a lot of practices. So Knobloch made it sound like sooner than later he'll get in, which means he could skate tomorrow and play on Saturday. You don't think he's going to be fired up? He could play a game on Saturday. I don't think there's much issue with that. So the decision comes down to, they got to make a roster spot. It has nothing to do with salary cap right now because Zach Hyman is in LTIR, so they got the cap space. They could actually just add Roslovic's 1.5 if they had a roster spot, but they don't. They have 23 players on the roster. They have Janmark on IR. He's not, for anybody saying waive Janmark, he's not eligible to come off IR. You got to be on there for at least a week. Then you have Zach Hyman, who's on LTIR. Now, Zach Hyman, the first game he's eligible to play is November 1st. Because his 24th day is actually the 30th that night. So the day 25 would actually be Halloween. They don't play on Halloween. So the first day he's eligible to play is November 1st. You have to miss 10 games and 24 days. Just the fact that for the 24-day period, the Oilers play 12 games in that span. So we know Hyman for sure is out minimum 12 games. When he is eligible to come back, there'll be another big decision to be made. But in the meantime, the Oilers got to make a roster move. Now, the easiest one would be you put Ike Howard, send him to the minors, doesn't require waivers, you move on. But Ike Howard, I thought that line, especially early on in the game, had some looks. He can really shoot the puck. Had the mistake on the one play, and that's fine. It's going to happen. That's one option. Now, every other option, because Tomasic's not going down, he's the only other guy, and Matt Savoy's not going down. They don't require waivers, so those two I'll take out of the equation. So after that, it comes down to putting a player on waivers. I know Curtis Lazar didn't dress last night, so he'd be an option. Noah Philp is a player with not a lot of experience. He could be an option. One of your defensemen could be an option, although when we get to practice tomorrow, if Jake Wallman's not on the ice, then there's zero chance they're going to put a defenseman on waivers because they might risk losing one, and then they're down to 6 defensemen, and suddenly you're an injury away from not having enough defensemen. So it's probably going to be a forward. But here's the other caveat. You could do waivers, or I think Stan Bowman is working the phone lines to see if he can make a trade to a team just not going to get lots in return. Maybe you get a 7th rounder, but 7th round pick, still better than nothing. We've seen lots of 7th round picks become NHL players. So that's kind of where I see it at for the Oilers. I'm curious, Con, what move? You get one move. What's the move do you think the Oilers are going to make when they activate Roslovic to the roster?
One that I hate to make because I like the guy, but Curtis Lazar's name comes to mind. Like you said, did not dress last night. To me, that just seems like the simple one. I like him as a utility guy who you could throw into the lineup if you need to, but for the upgrade, I think that Curtis Lazar is the move I would make.
Okay. And it's hard to argue with that. Wasn't on the roster last night. So then, though, Cons, to make it a little bit more challenging, Roslovic, I assume, is going to play on Saturday. So which of the 12 forwards do you take out of the lineup?
Oh, then it gets a little tougher. Well, I'm probably not touching the top 3 lines. Maybe Philip or Kapanen. I guess that'd be it.
Yeah, I wouldn't take Kapanen. I thought he was really good last night. Man, he's flying. He's, you know what? He makes plays with the puck. For me, he wouldn't come out of the lineup. I actually liked his game last night. But
would you go with one of the younger guys?
I think it's probably going to be Philp or Howard who comes out of the lineup from last night. That would be kind of my guess on, unless somebody's got an injury that I don't know of. So that would be my guess. 833-401-1440. You can always text us in our inbox. As mentioned, coming up, Landon Farrar will join us next. We'll talk some NHL. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Day or night, tasting just the right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 25% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until October 18th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
It's Midnight Madness at the Brick. Stores close Friday to lower prices, then reopen at 5 p.m. with incredible 7-hour deals. The first 10 customers get $50 to spend on anything in store. Score free local delivery when you spend $4.99 or more. Plus, buy any TV or appliance, get a $50 credit to spend on furniture, decor, or mattresses. And take 5 years to pay with 0 interest on your Flexity card OAC. Terms and conditions apply. See in-store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Top quality flooring, locally owned, and Canadian products from Beaulieu. Yeah, that's CFI.
CFI what?
No, CFI, Custom Floors Inc.
From free estimate to professional installation, contact Custom Floors Inc. at customfloorsinc.ca.
Groceries, mortgage payments, family holidays, a new car. That's what profit shares look like for Vision Credit Union members. Each year, we return about 75% of our profits, $35 million last year, to the people who bank with us. Because at Vision Credit Union, when you're an owner, you get your share. Why not get yours? Learn how at whatsyourshare.ca. That's whatsyourshare.ca. Hey everybody, it's Jason Stradling. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday?
Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from Los Angeles and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise at tropical waters, you can attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Fernando Pisani, Kelly Buckberger, Ron Lowe, Gene Principe, Jack Michaels, Louis DeBrusque, and more. There's still time to get in on every hockey fan's dream cruise. Book now and save $500 per couple. The Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. Price start at just $23.99. Part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton. Call 1-833-347-7678. Call now to book and save $500 per cabin when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. That's cast.tours, 1-833-347-7678.
Smart, connected, community driven. Jason Gregor sets the standard for sports talk in Edmonton. Join the conversation on Sports 1440. Text Gregor 833-401-1440. Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass. Your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.222. One other thing I noticed last night in the loss that I was surprised by. Now, I don't know. I guess I'd have to look it up, and maybe he stinks in shootouts, but I'm a big believer that guys get fired up against their former team. Mangiapane not in the top 8 against his former team in the shootout. I just found that a little surprising to me. I have no idea if he'd score, so it's hard to criticize shootout selections because I don't know if they'd score or not, but I always like going for the extra motivation ones on players. I know some people are like, oh, well, why is Bouchard going? Well, Anderson went 3rd for Calgary. Some defensemen are good in shootouts. I watch in practice, Bouchard scores quite often. I would have loved to see him come across and pull the Gaetan Haas and just rip a clapper. That would have been awesome. Might be low percentage play, but it would have been awesome. Now, let's talk some more about the Edmonton Oilers as we get to the oil report brought to you by Go Auto. Did you know that Go Auto has donated more than $24 million to local charities and takes pride in supporting the communities where they live and do business? They also founded Thrive Elementary School, which is unbelievable. It helps inner city families reduce their costs and get their kids in school and get healthy meals. It's an amazing place. That's all from Go Auto. As we are joined by our regular Thursday contributor, Landon Ferraro, joins us now. And Landon, where do you come out on shootouts? And how much of it is a flip of a coin? I would have had Mangiapane in the first 8 simply because it's his former team, and he scored in the game already.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely was, especially as it got farther into it, I kept expecting him to hop over the bench. Just hearing what you said, like, I am a big fan of that as well. Of like, the guy has a little extra motivation. He's already got one tonight. Let's give him a chance to, to be the guy to finish it off here as well. I was a little surprised that way, but I mean, like, the shootouts are such a weird thing that I still find it, like, I loved it when they first put it in. It was fun. It was exciting. And then as it kind of went on, you're like, okay, like, the majority of our team has just worked their butt off for 65 minutes. And now we're watching a couple of guys in a skills competition try and finish it off. Like, it just doesn't make a ton of sense anymore. I get that there's a lot of games. You gotta come to a finish at some point, and no one wants a tie, so it makes sense. But it's some of the best players don't like going in them. Like, I always found, for me, I loved getting breakaways. I was very comfortable going in and having that split-second chance. Getting into a shootout, I always found it really awkward. Like, you're standing there, you're waiting around, you have a ton of thinking to do. It's just a different ball game. So some guys don't like going, but I do think that, especially as it got a bit longer, that I would have thought Mangiapane would have been out there for sure.
Yeah. What do you make of, and I still contest this is a problem for Edmonton. I think it's been a problem, and until it gets fixed, it'll continue to be a problem. I don't know if Dustin Wolf had any traffic to deal with 5-on-5 again last night. This team just doesn't seem to have guys who, now, especially with Hyman out of the lineup, they don't have a lot of traffic in front of them.
Well, I mean, yeah, like you look at the team last year, and who was the guy that consistently got to the net? It was the oldest guy on the roster in Corey Perry, right? Like, there's a reason that he's been able to stick around forever. He was an unbelievable all-star through the first majority of his career. And then as the game got a bit faster and he had to keep adapting, like, he found, I have very good hands and I get to the net. I've never understood where guys just don't, especially if they're in, it's the beginning of the season, so no one's in a slump. But when you're having a tough time getting your chances, like, just get yourself to the front of the net. The amount of things that can bounce off you and go in, or because you're there, well, look at Zari's goal last night. I mean, that's a massive human in Klapka, but he's in front of the net. I know it's a power play, but he gets there. It ends up hitting him. It knocks down, and all of a sudden it's on the other side of the net, and Zari makes a beautiful hand-eye play to put it in. But that happens because he's standing there. Yeah. And when you have, I do like that Edmonton does have more speed this year. Like, that was pretty evident last night, that there's more guys on the roster that can move. Well, as much as movement there is, like, someone eventually has to get to the blue paint. And when you have guys that can shoot the puck, especially from the back end, and like, anytime that you're on the ice with Bouchard, you understand that when he has a lane, he's going to take that shot. Like, that should be the easiest kind of identifier of, oh, it's going up, I got to get there, because the puck's going to get delivered.
Yeah, well, it's very valid. And like, I look at Edmonton, they had that game in complete control. And the first goal, hey, Nurse in the offensive zone, I don't like the play. But I actually go back to 2 shifts before that. The McDavid line had a terrible shift in their own zone. Like, they just got sloppy. They were up 3-0. And it was like the whole team said, we can relax. And obviously it culminated with the terrible play by Skinner that led to the tying goal. But from the time of being 3-0 to the time of 3-3, Edmonton, virtually every line just lost their effectiveness in what they were doing in the first 23 minutes of the game.
Yeah, and I think, the majority of guys that spoke to media last night all essentially said the same thing. Like, we took our foot off the gas. And I know that feeling of a home opener, there's a ton of emotion. There's so much excitement. You get out to a 3-0 lead, and all of a sudden you're like, well, this is a lot of fun. And now it's going to be a bit of a point night in front of the home crowd. It's going to be nice and loud in there. Everyone's happy. And as those thoughts start to creep in, well, Calgary's not going to just quit. They've done it the last couple of years in home opener or in season openers as well. They did it to Vancouver coming back last year here in Vancouver. So, there was pieces of last year that seemed to creep into this year in the home opener of, we start off really good and then we let the other team back in. They're fully in control. There was a couple bad bounces. The first goal against is a spinorama backhand into the slot that hits a foot and goes in. Like, there's not much you can do there. Yeah, the puck maybe couldn't have been in the zone at that point because there was a mistake at the other end, but the next one is the power play, and that ends up getting punted, just over the crossbar from one side to the other, and then Zari has the patience to wait for it to drop, and he puts it in out of midair. Like, there's not much to do on those, but you're still in control of the game, and yet the big mistake comes early in the third, and that's a deflating piece. Yeah. And when you have a team that has had multiple tough starts to seasons over the past couple of years, and it starts to snowball back against them, like, it's a tough thing to dig yourself out of, especially now that you've given Calgary all the life in the world. You can't just, as much as you have two of the best players in the world, you can't just decide to turn it back on and go score. Like, you need to keep doing that work that got you to the point of a 3-0 lead.
Talking Oilers, of course, with our Thursday analyst, Landon Ferraro. Landon, Jack Roslovich comes in, had a very good year last year with Carolina, 19 5-on-5 goals, 21 even strength goals, had 34 and 37 points, 5-on-5 and even strength. I look at Jack Roslovich and I think he can come in here, he can help, but my concern with the Oilers forward group is they have a lot of similar players, right? Like Trent Frederick, he's not a top line player. I think we all know that. He's there for a bit until Hyman comes back, and then he'll move down the lineup, and he'll be more of a crash and bang player. But they don't like Pod Coles, and yes, but other than that, they don't really have a lot of sandpaper. Is that a concern for you?
A little bit, but I would say that they have, I think, more guys that play with a little more jam. Are they going to be running around and hitting? Probably not. But, you know, a guy even just like Mangiapane, like before his goal, like that is a lot of jam on that play. He's down on his knees. He stays with the puck, makes a play, and then he doesn't just vacate the area and go change or whatever. Like, he quickly turns on his feet. He sees that McDavid's got the puck. If I get open, he's going to get this back to me. And he's able to have that quick hit offense. I think that's going to be a bit more of the style of, you know, get in and out of the battles quick and try and make the other team pay off of their quickness and playmaking ability. I think that's where it can be okay. You know, with Roslovic coming in, I think it adds, you know, obviously he's a 20-goal scorer. Like, he can add some real good depth scoring to kind of lighten the load off of McDavid and Draisaitl a little bit. You know, for him, I think it's a very good situation. Obviously, he was looking for, you know, a longer-term deal with good money this summer, and before you knew it, the season started, and he's sitting on his couch like, we need to get a deal done somewhere. I got to play. So him coming in, very motivated. He's a player that when he's on is very skilled, can make plays, can be a player that really makes a difference. His issue is consistency. Some nights it's there and some nights it's not. And coming in the situation here of, you know, a 1-year deal, he's going to be playing with some very good players. I think being around a McDavid and a Draisaitl that are, I mean, it's no secret how motivated they are to win. They've been so close and they haven't been able to get over the finish line. Like, they've got their big toe halfway over it and they can't clear the line. Having that type of intensity and coming into that situation in the Oilers dressing room, I think could be a really good motivating factor to get the best out of Roslovic over a real consistent basis.
If you look at last night's 12 forwards, and we assume that Roslovic will get in the lineup on Saturday, who would you take out and why?
I mean, a little bit of it, I think, you know, it's tough because it's easy to say one of the young guys, but to me, like, Savoy is the one that can be the one that comes in and out a little bit. I thought he didn't have a bad game last night, but I thought Howard's ability with the puck and getting his shot off and not being afraid to use it is going to be something that I think they can really build off of. And as he gets more comfortable, like, you know, he didn't miss that shot. I think it was in the first period to the low glove side. He didn't miss that by much. Like, that's a confident shooter that doesn't overthink and, oh, I need to make a pass. I need to get it to one of the veterans. He's like, no, like, my skill is my release. I need to use it. Tomashik, sorry. I messed that one up last night too, and I'm getting there. I've got closer this time around, though. You know, I liked his game. Like, you know, he's a bit older, so obviously he's more mature, but he's heavy. He understands how to use his body positioning on the ice. You know, the one play that I really liked on the power play last night was McDavid wheeling down the right half wall. Tomashik's on the goal line, and he gets his body and his backside right into the hands. And before you know it, he's opened up a lane for himself, and McDavid feeds it in quick. It didn't end up going in, but just a little play like that, like, he understands how to manipulate himself to get into scoring positions. So I think right away, you know, Savoy's probably the one that pops out. But in saying that, they're starting to get more and more quality depth. And once you add back in Hyman as well, like there's some real healthy competition in Edmonton that I don't think they've had in years past. I think it was more interchanging guys of similar features.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I like when Hyman comes in, Frederick's better suited down the lineup. I thought he had a quiet night last night. What did you make of the Kapanen, Podkolzin, and Philp line?
Honestly, like I liked it. I text Walks probably halfway through the first period and said, like, I really like Philp's game right now. He was solid. He made some good plays, but between all of them, they were able to use their abilities to affect the game in a positive way. They got on the body a bit. They kept it simple. They kept moving up the ice. I think that as one of your first questions was, like, do they have a lot of the same player? Well, those three can do something a little bit different. And now if you're talking when Hyman's back, Frederick drops down the lineup a bit too, because his game will pick up as well. Like he missed all last season, jumps into playoffs and is kind of just trying to tread water and do the best he could. I don't think he's going to be that top line guy that he's sitting at right now. But I think when he gets into there, like they can run around, cause a little havoc a little bit. They can provide some real good grind time in the offensive zone. Like you saw at different points last year where a line was able to hold the other team in the D zone for a little bit, then make that change. And then you have a fresh McDavid or Draisaitl jumping over. And that's almost a guaranteed goal. Like it is. When they get that mismatch, I think that's a line that could really provide that for this team.
Lastly, what did you make of Regula's play last night?
Again, for a guy that missed last season, like it was a pretty good game. I like how he moves. I think he made some good plays defensively. He didn't try and do too much. I saw, in preseason a couple times where he's at the top of the blue line and he makes the first move around the winger coming out at him, which is great, but he didn't see the second line of defense there, and he'd run himself right into the next forward. I think he played a bit more within himself, and he's a big man. Like it's a piece that I think could really help this group in the back end. And obviously you're waiting for Wallman to come back in, but having that bigger guy that can still move up the ice and provide that, it's a good piece. Like I think he had a decently solid game.
Yeah, he's a player that I think when Wallman returns, Ty Emberson's going to be is hard pressed to get in the lineup.
Yeah, and I don't think you're wrong there. I think Emberson, I think he had a decent game last night as well, but when you put those two in Regula and Emberson against each other and comparing, one's got a lot more size and a bit more, can make a bit more of an offensive play as well.
Oh, yeah.
And when you have the forwards that the Oilers do, I mean, your whole job isn't to just kill the play defensively and make the easiest chip off the glass play. It's about delivering the puck into your skilled forwards' hands as quickly as possible. Because if the quicker it gets moved up to those guys, the quicker you got less to worry about at your own end, and you're giving your team a way better chance of succeeding and getting into the offensive zone and carrying the play down there. I think Regula has a bit more of that. And again, you got to remember, he's had a long layoff, and he looks like he does right now. Like it's only, not to say he's going to take leaps and bounds this year, but I think his game will keep improving as he gets more comfortable as well.
Quickly, have you caught on to Jay's fever? Are you a baseball fan?
I will say I am a postseason baseball fan.
Okay,
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the Jays in 30 in the morning.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, the last couple of games, I mean, the series against the Yankees was awesome. It's always fun to see, especially the Jays that get, even out in Vancouver here, people get pretty excited about. I dropped some stuff off at the dry cleaner the morning of the last game, and there's a woman in there in like Blue Jay blue tights with her jersey on. She was all decked out. Like, to see a country get behind a team is always fun, and then to really take it to the Yankees is always, I mean, I always got time for that.
Yeah, Very true. Landon, we'll see. They got the Oilers and the Canucks, of course, Flames and Canucks going at it tonight. So Oiler fans might do some scouting as there's no Jays games to watch, and maybe they'll check that game out. And then Oilers Canucks coming up on Saturday. Appreciate your time. We'll talk to you next Thursday.
Yeah, sounds good.
There you go. That's Landon Ferraro, pre- and post-game host here on Sports 1440 and our regular Thursday contributor. When we come back, we got something. I know it's only game one, but some of you get a little fired up. It's understandable. You need to be a little bit of Frank Costanza serenity now. Well, we have something that might help with your serenity now. Next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here at PlayAlberta.ca.
Whoa, who turned off all the lights?
Experience the new charcoal menu at Booster Juice.
Charcoal menu?
Introducing the Eclipse Smoothie, Blackout Booster Mixer, and Midnight Booster Ball.
Where's that voice coming from?
Dark and delicious, made with activated charcoal.
Can we please turn the lights back on?
Sorry, I'm just excited about the new charcoal menu.
Wow, that is good.
Right?
Available now, only at Booster Juice. You'll see us digging holes. No, we're not looking for buried treasure. You'll see us digging trenches as well. And no, we're not building a fort. We're GS Construction, and you'll see us in neighborhoods throughout the Edmonton area. So what are we doing? GS Construction provides rehabilitation and upgrade services to Edmonton and surrounding communities. Some of our underground utilities have served us for years and are past their useful lives. We replace them, so they're around for years to come. Find out more at gsconstruction.ca.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth, fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
The job won't wait. Why should you? At AWS Welding Supplies and Repairs, conveniently located in Nisku, we've got everything you need to get it done. From product sales to servicing and calibrating machines, we're your one-stop shop. We're a proud, locally owned and operated business, committed to serving our community with a proven track record of customer service. Don't let a broken tool slow you down. We offer fast repairs and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
Carve out for a cause at the Jason Gregor Pizza Pig Out, presented by GS Construction. Thursday, November 6th at the Canadian Ice House. Indulge in unlimited pizza from amazing local pizzerias while you help raise some dough for Kids Sport. Then vote for your favorite slice to help crown the People's Choice Award winners. Tickets to join Edmonton's biggest and best adult pizza party are just $30. Head to jasongregorpizzapigout.com for more details and to buy tickets.
From the first face-off to the final, Sports 1440 is your home for hockey talk. With live coverage, expert analysis, and pre- and post-game shows, we bring you closer to the game. Tune in 24/7, only on Sports 1440, Edmonton Sports Station.
Game day sauce. Buddy, quit rolling up to the bar and looking like it's grade 9 grad and you're wearing your dad's old work suit. Do yourself a favor and call Game Day Suits.
Game Day Suits is Alberta-based and makes fully customizable, made-to-order suits. Perfect for hockey teams, wedding parties, or even the office crew. Book your free consultation at GameDaySuits.ca.
I'm rocking one right now. I look deadly.
You know they can't see you, right?
Okay, Mr. Announcer, you want to go, tough guy?
Game Day Suits!
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$2:44 on a lovely Thursday afternoon. A little frustrating for Oilers fans. They're just like, oh, geez, another season. there'll be some frustrating games. Just remember that. Some games will go great. You'll love it. And then other ones, you'll be like, ooh, serenity now. You might have to go for a walk, right? You might have to remember, don't throw things at the TV. I know some of you have those stress balls. Maybe that's what you'll throw. We'll see how it goes. But we got a chance to maybe help you and keep your serenity to a lower, because today we're going with the gold medalists today. These are award winners, the best of the best. Now we'll find out who voted on the best of the best, but these are the best of the best as we get to Thirsty Thursday, brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, 2 locations, South Side on 50th Street and 92nd Ave. And then, of course, the original location still there on 118th and St. Albert Trail. The best selection in the city when you're looking for beers, cocktails, wines, non-alcoholic beverages. They got it all. Sherbrooke Liquor. As once again, one of our main guys from Sherbrooke, Stephen Bazan, joins us today. And we're going gold medals because Alberta just had their beer awards.
Yes, the Alberta Beer Awards.
Oh, you got to get your mic on, my man.
My mic.
Yeah, there
we go.
There you
now
go.
we're set up.
That helps.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate the help there. Yeah, it's the Alberta Beer Awards were announced earlier this week. So I brought in 6 different gold medal winners from 6 different categories.
Ooh.
Yeah. So basically how it works, every year the Alberta Small Brewers Association, they organize the official Alberta Beer Awards. So all the small craft breweries in Alberta had the chance to enter in their brews to be judged and critiqued over a weekend. And then the end result is medals are awarded. We find out what the best beer in Alberta is, and it's always an exciting time of the year.
Wow. So they get a plaque? Do they get anything else?
Yeah, it's like it's a plaque that they get gold, silver, and bronze. And so you go in your category. If you win gold in your category, you go on to the best in show category at the end. And the judges go through all the gold medal winners, and then the best beer in Alberta is named after that. And it's huge bragging rights. It's always, there's a lot of like little different awards and that sort of thing that go on, but the Alberta Beer Awards is kind of the big official one that most people pay attention to. So it's like I said,
so we'll go through the winners. We'll go through some of the winners.
Yeah, so I went through the Sherbrooke cooler and I picked out some of the gold medal winners. So we'll start light here.
Okay.
We'll go for it. So this one won the gold medal in the light lager category.
Okay, so this would be Strutty's favorite beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's Odd Company, the Tío Juanito Cerveza Especial. So this is a
4.5%.
4.5%, pale, color, clear. It's a Mexican style lager. So usually with that, when you see Mexican style lager, you'll see lots of those in the craft beer cooler nowadays. And essentially what it means is they add a little bit of corn into the mash bill, which kind of lightens the body, just makes it a little drier, just nice, easy drinking. So out of all the light lagers in Alberta, this one took home the gold medal.
The Tío
Juanito.
Juanito. All right. So all of you who like light beer it's just not a lot of flavor to them, I find, for the most part.
Yeah. If you're looking to delve into craft beer for the first time, if you're, like a big name beer drinker and you want to try something a little different, this is kind of the direction you could go. Like seek out some nice Mexican lagers in the craft beer section, and you will not be disappointed.
Now, the next one I can figure out just by looking at it. This is obviously in the hazy category.
It's in the American / hazy pale ale category.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one is, you can see there if you're watching on YouTube, it is dense. You cannot see through it.
Can't see through it.
Yeah. Looks like orange juice. So this is
almost like an orange pineapple juice look.
Yeah, like a 5 Alive juice or something.
You know what's funny? It actually smells.
It does
just
not.
When that you said 5 Alive, I'm like, oh my god, this smells like very sweet.
That's like the hop blend. So this is from Cabin Brewing out of Calgary. Their Super Saturation New England Pale Ale. It is. It's not that far off from 5 Alive juice. If you've ever had that.
Yeah, it's got alcohol in it and it's got beer, and so it's definitely not as sweet as that. But the smell is great, and that to me, I really like that flavor because sometimes if you have beers, anybody out there, you have a beer, and sometimes like some people love the taste of the beer, and then sometimes you're just like, I don't love it, but I like kind of I like maybe what it does to me. So but that one it's deceptively in how smooth it is.
Yeah, especially in the sort of, because it's kind of in the IPA family.
Yes.
And IPAs can be really, really bitter sometimes.
Yes,
like some people just cannot handle it. But these hazy pale ales, hazy IPAs, they have even more hops than the more West Coast bitter ones, but
Okay.
but they add the hops later in the brewing process, so you get way more aroma and less of the bitterness.
All right.
Like you could as soon as I crack this one open, you could just smell in the
Yes.
studio. You could smell the tropical fruit and pineapple. Yeah, so that is the best. And actually, just a side note too, Cabin, the brewery that made this one, they went on to win Brewery of the Year at the awards as well.
Really?
So they
Brewery of the Year.
they tabulate all the
And Steve gave us a little tip for all of those. So if you have the hazy pale beer, store it upside down. Why?
Yeah. So the hazy ones, all the sediment that gives it that hazy appearance, it all collects at the bottom of the can. So if you just have it upright and you crack it open right away, pour it, it's not gonna be that hazy. And then when you get to the bottom of the can, it's going to be like chunky and like, so it all kind of builds up at the bottom. So you want it to evenly distribute throughout the can before you open it.
Little tip for those serving at a party.
Yeah, tip for your hazy
fans. Now the next one, first when I read the name of it from the patch, I was like, oh man, is this big in the oil field? I like it, but it's more from like like from the garden patch because it's a carrot cake sour beer. I'm going to tell you right now, my thoughts. I'm not like, I like beer and I'm not sure I love like some of the flavors, but I always try to have an open mind. So I'll take a slug of water first.
Totally. So they actually have an experimental beer category at the awards. So this one, it's like using different ingredients, different brewing methods. And this one took home gold. And it's actually interesting. You mentioned the oil patch too, because this is from Hard Knocks Brewing out of Diamond Valley, Southern Alberta. And most of their beers are totally like blue collar, like just straight ahead brown ales, lagers, that sort of thing. So it's sort of unusual for them to go off the beaten track. So it
doesn't really taste like sweet at all. It doesn't really taste like carrot cake.
No, like you get a little bit of the spices on the nose, like a little bit of cinnamon. They actually add carrots into the Yeah, it is that's the wild card here. I think it's a surprising one.
Like it's very surprising to me like that when I saw it from the patch on carrot cake. I'm like, I don't like sweet drinks anything that much. So
and to add that sour aspect to it too on the finish, it just balances everything out. And it's an interesting beer.
I can see how it won.
Buddy.
In that category, I can see how it won.
Yeah. So moving on, you ready for the next one? So this
dwarf.
Yeah,
like it's an old school. I'm like, what are we? Are we bootleggers now? Like this is the old school that I grew up on. The brown bottle of beer that my dad had at the house, and it would have a label on it, and that's it.
Yeah, they did. There will be an official label when they release this year's vintage. So this is from Blind Man.
But right
Brewing.
now, it's like a handwritten dwarf. I love it.
Yeah, it's like a piece of tape with dwarf.
A piece of tape.
Like shout out to Blind Man too, because they announced the winners. I really wanted to have Blind Man on the show this week, but the latest vintage of this beer wasn't quite ready to be packaged yet. So they sent someone to the brewery. They got a hold of a couple bottles here before the official release, which is today.
So this is from Blind Man.
Blind Man Brewing out of Lacombe. One of my absolute favorite Alberta breweries.
What's the Dofs? Is that how you say their last name? Doof?
Hans. Yeah. He's a great guy. Yeah, one of the owners there. So this is their dwarf sour cherry fruited saison.
Holy cow!
So this took home.
That has got some sourness to it.
Yeah,
that's no joke.
Yeah, buddy. So it took home gold in the mixed fermentation category. And so most beer is made with yeast that's sort of cultivated, like lab made, that's specifically for beer. Mixed fermentation uses that type of yeast, but then also has like spontaneous airborne yeast that helps make the beer. And so this one spent a year in oak and then another year resting on these dwarf sour cherries that were like developed in Saskatchewan. And
the first sip catches you off guard, and then after that, it's good. But that first sip,
I gave you a fancy wine glass for that.
Yeah, because you could really get the
get classy.
Oh yeah, classy.
So this one, it won its category and then went on to win number 3 for the best beer in Alberta.
What was number 1?
Number 1 was Nevermore from Sea Change Brewing. So shout out to Sea Change. It was a big imperial stout they did that was aged
Nevermore.
And it's kind of the funny thing that I find with these awards too, like working in retail, is the awards get announced and then obviously a lot of customers want to come in and buy all the award winners, but a huge percentage of them were either like one-offs or
so you can't even get it.
It's like, sorry, you can't get it.
Oh, that's brutal.
So they might.
What a tease.
I know.
So, no guy likes a tease. Come on, or girl.
Yeah. So Sea Change might have some still at their tap rooms or whatever, but we were never able to carry their Nevermore beer. That one.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, Sea Change.
Yeah, come on.
Jones, what are you doing out there? You're making this great beer and then we can't taste it. That is breaking the guy code. It's the number. It's like you have a great secret, you can't tell anyone. Brutal. Like, come on, you don't make a beer that no one can drink. Well, then why even enter it?
Get it together, guys.
Jeez, that's a fail.
Okay. Beer number 5. So this one, the dark lager category.
Wow.
Old Beautiful, Eternal Twilight, dark lager. Another brewery out of Calgary, making some great stuff. So it's 4.8%. Yeah, it's like pitch black.
It smells a little bit coffee, which I despise, but it doesn't taste like it at all.
No, yeah, that'd be from anytime you get any beer with roasted malts in it, you're going to get some of that roasty kind of coffee.
I like the can. Look at that. We'll put it on YouTube. The Old Beautiful. Right.
Eternal Twilight.
God, I'm starting to look in the mirror, and that's what I think of.
They're an amazing brewery out of Calgary. That's maybe not as well known as some of the bigger names, but they do excellent beer.
Yeah, that is pretty good, actually. And then what do we got last? Or would this be, what is this? So Ice Cutter?
Ice Cutter from Snake Lake Brewing.
Vanilla latte stout.
It's like, I don't bring these coffee beers on purpose. And I realize after, I'm like, man, Jason's going to be mad at me for this one. But this is, I love this. It's a seasonal release from Snake Lake. It comes out every year around the fall, winter time. So this one
actually tastes really good.
It's amazing. It was entered in the vegetable / spiced category. So there's some different spices and things in there, but it took home gold in that category and then went on to win the second best in show.
If people are coffee drinkers, like that's the classic Strutty right there, man. That's a bouquet of flavors.
Right. Coming in your mouth there.
Yeah.
It is
pretty good.
And the vanilla is really nice too. It kind of balances out that roasty edge to it.
Yeah.
So if you aren't as into the coffee flavor, it's got that touch of sweetness there too.
Well, if I had to pick out of these 6 for me, God. Well, I know which 3 I'm getting rid of.
Yeah.
The Tijuanito, I get people love light beer, but I want some flavor to it. Like that's great light. I can see why you'd like it.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Yeah.
I actually really liked the vanilla latte stout, but it's still got the coffee smell. So
yeah,
can't do it.
That's fair.
I might actually go with the. This is close. This is really tight. It would depend on my day, but I might go simply because the super saturation.
Okay, yeah.
I really like the dwarf beer though, man. Like that's all 3 of them. Even the patch because it's sour.
Yeah.
Like that thing is, I would love to serve that to people and not because that first one, like you're just like, oh my God, that is really sour. But it is once you take a few sips of it, it definitely isn't as sour, and then it tastes really well. Like that cherry flavor is good.
It's so good, and it's sort of a vintage beer. Like they do a different version every year. Back in 2023, it won best beer in Canada at the Canadian Brewing Awards.
The cherries,
the dwarf cherry one, from Blind Man. So that would probably be my. It's hard for me to pick my favorite, but man, that dwarf cherry. I look forward to the release every year. And again, it's a vintage, so each year is kind of a little bit different.
Well, what's unique about these beers is honestly, if you went down to Sherbrooke and you get a mixed bag of these, like honestly, if you put these 6 in one of you should, because I know we've done these before. You do the 6-pack.
Yeah.
Make this a 6-pack. It's got a whole wide range because sometimes when you have buddies come over, like it comes in the super can, you can split it with a few people and just get the taste of it. And it's a wide range. I like now sometimes, I'm past the day where I just drink to get bombed, which was super fun at a young age in my life. But now it's kind of like I want to have something flavorful. I'm okay, you can sit there with your buddies. At least your main goal isn't to get bombed. Sometimes it might end up that way, but these ones have some different flavor. Where you find you sit around, you could actually try with different guys. You probably have some good shots sitting around playing poker or just watching a game or something.
Totally. Yeah. It's super fun. And it could your expectations kind of go out the window too. Like if you think you don't like dark beers because you've had 1 or 2 that you don't like. There's
they're very different. Yeah. Like this vanilla one, honestly, everybody knows I don't like coffee, but that vanilla latte stout Ice Cutter,
it is amazing.
It is actually really good.
Yeah. Well deserving of that number 2 spot.
So
yeah,
I like it. Stephen, great stuff, buddy. We will, I know we got Thanksgiving and you know what, we'll see. Do you have any beers with like pumpkin and whipped cream?
Oh, there's
there is. I know.
We still have some of those pumpkin pie ones left. I know we did a pumpkin.
Yeah, the pumpkin beer was surprising good.
Yeah. So we have like Alley Cat's pumpkin pie.
So anybody out there, if you want to stop in at Sherbrooke for Thanksgiving, you're like, I don't know what to show up for mom or dad. Show up for dad and say, Dad, I got you a pumpkin pie beer.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here. But it's actually pretty good.
You will love it.
Yeah, it's really good. So awesome stuff, Steve. Thanks, man. We'll talk to you next Thursday.
My pleasure. I'll see you then.
Another edition of Thirsty Thursday here on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Let's get to the con man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Now, feeding, it's coming up to Thanksgiving. Everybody loves feeding families. Well, at Northgate, they had a goal to feed 500 families in September. They're getting really close, so they extended it into October. For every truck sold, they're going to feed a family of 4. So you can do that and get a great deal, 0% financing and more right now. Northgate Chevrolet GMC.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Busy night in the NHL, 14 games on the ice, including the Canadiens in Detroit. The Lightning host the Sens Flames in Vancouver. Flyers meet the Panthers and the Bills taking on the Wild. National League Divisional Series roll on tonight. Dodgers looking to wrap up their series with the Phillies just after 4 o'clock. Then at 7, you got the Cubs looking to extend their series, trailing the Brewers 2-1. Week 6 in the NFL gets going tonight with the Eagles heading to MetLife to take on the Giants. That one gets going at 6:15. Eagles defenders Jalen Carter and Nakobe Dean both listed as questionable, while the Giants will be without wide receiver Darius Slayton on top of losing Malik Neighbors for the season. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by former NHLer Terry Ryan, also Blue Jays host on Sportsnet Jamie Campbell, and we'll speed things up in the Cantor Racing Report with Colin Livingston. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fan. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the Power Play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Want some good news? St. Albert Dodge is holding the biggest sale of the year on their in-stock Ram 1500 Sports. Every single one on the lot is discounted by a whopping $14,000. Yeah, 14 grand. And St. Albert Dodge has the best selection in Alberta. Over 90 Ram 1500 Sports to choose from, with great packages, including the Night Edition and GT models, all $14,000 off the ticket price. Get down there and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need.
You listen to
Derek. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game.
See Thursday here on Sports. Another edition of
Mr. Dirk.
It's an action-packed long weekend of Oil Kings hockey at Rogers Place, starting Saturday afternoon against the Moose Jaw Warriors.
Then it's a Thanksgiving Monday matchup with the Lethbridge Hurricanes.
Bring boxes of mac and cheese to use as noisemakers, then donate to Edmonton's food bank after the game.
And at every home game, sports Helmut Bits food
1440
combos
Jason
for
Gregor
$10
Show.
or
Sports
less.
14
The value
team
is
wins when you have
king
8.
Edmonton, Moose Jaw, Saturday at 2 p.m.
Oil Kings, Hurricanes. Special
But
holiday
I was
Monday
surprised by it. No, I don't know.
Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20 a seat at oilkings.ca.
One other thing.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever.
Thursday.
For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Monopoly Double Play is back at McDonald's. So let's practice winning. You just won 25 grand. And go.
Yes!
I said 25 grand.
That's what I'm talking about! Yeah!
Much better. Okay, now you just won a brand new Chevrolet Corvette. I think she just fainted. Impressive. Feel like a winner on pack and in-app. Monopoly Double Play is back. While supplies last, 1 in 5 chances to win game piece prizes at outset. Chances to win draw prizes depend on number of entries in each draw. Cash prizes payable by e-transfer. See rules in-app.
When it comes to choosing a hair clinic, the difference is in the doctor.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. Transforming how you feel about yourself is a very personal experience.
and I'll work directly with you every step of the way.
Physicians come from all over the world to learn from Dr. Elliott.
When your personal goal is to help other people achieve theirs, you must deeply understand the latest treatments.
Want to feel confident and comfortable? The difference is in the doctor.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott at drvanceelliott.com.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
I need somebody, not just anybody. You know, I need someone. When I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way. But now these days are gone, I'm not so sad.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. We treat pain and injuries head to toe and some other issues that might surprise you, like incontinence, vertigo, neuropathy, and cognitive issues. We invest in the technology, technique, skills, and people who know how and what to fix. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Hey, do you guys have the just after 3 o'clock? Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. A lot of texts coming. Hey guys, where do we see the list of beers? Well, go on I know Sherbrooke Liquor, we put it up on our Sports 1440 Instagram page. You'll have it. You can click on it. The nice, it's very photogenic. You got the beers and they're angling against each other, but it's awesome. And so if you're looking to have an array of different flavors, and these are all they all won awards in their categories. They're pretty damn good. They are very, very flavorful. Depends what you like. Everybody has whether you like light or whether you like dark, you want some sours. I got it all. So check it out at Sports 1440 or Sherbrooke Liquor on Instagram page, and you will see it right there. It is the Gregor Show, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stay right here in our lovely province of Alberta. So good luck at playalberta.ca. And if you haven't done it, download the app. It's even easier to use. As we are joined now by former NHLer, of course, stars on Shoresy as a Hitch in the Newfoundland Sports Hall of Fame, Terry Ryan joins us. TR, welcome back, man. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing all right. A lot of great sports things happening in the last few days, not the least of which is my daughter's under 15 nationals. I'm sitting here in Charlottetown, PEI, chauffeuring them around. They're in eating now at Razzie's Barbecue House, and that's been my week. But big week as far as the Jays. Brought a tear to my eye the other night.
Oh God, that was huge, man. Like I was watching the Jays and it was amazing. Like in the last 2 weeks of September, Vladdy was struggling. He couldn't hit the ball out of the infield, and they had a week off. He did some adjustments, and he comes out against the Yankees and absolutely murders them. He's hitting 3 home runs. It's a first grand slam in the playoffs for the Jays. Hits 3 home runs in the first 3 games. Comes up with an RBI single in the first inning last night. Like he was a force, as was Ernie Clement. Like you would expect Vladdy, and it's hard. Like when you're the big guy, he went toe to toe with Aaron Judge, and I would argue Vladdy was better because he hit 3 dingers to 1. Like he outperformed their best guy, and then Ernie Clement absolutely destroyed anybody. If we would say who was the next best hitter in New York, Ernie Clement was dominant.
Yeah, they really, really stepped up. I'm not putting Clement down, but that kind of performance, I don't know if we really saw coming. And with Vladdy, I was glad to see it because I know he gets paid a lot, and a lot is an understatement, obviously. But the guy. And the way sports is now, especially baseball with such a long season, like the guy shows up and plays most games. A lot of players don't. He seems much more comfortable when he's having fun. You know, and there's a lot that I like about him. And when he's slumping, you know, it's when you command so much money, it's going to be a story. And he didn't have a fantastic year on $50 million a year terms, you know, being the go-to guy. But this is why, if you can give me an above-average year every year as a fan, or a member of the brass of the Jays, and then do this in the playoffs, I mean, this is why you make your money for it. You know, Judge has been criticized in the past, but I you know, he wasn't as dominant, but the guy did show up. It was, you know, a real, for both teams, you know, that the spotlight was on those guys. And of course, Judge, you could argue, but I think he did his job. But the Yankees just didn't seem as deep. They had definitely had periods during the series that you were like, and you're never, with the New York Yankees, you're never comfortable. Even when it was 6-1 and everybody was watching and they blew the Jays blew that third game. I don't think any of us watching thought the game was over. The Yankees can get 6 runs in an inning at any point, and they always seemed like they were ready to unload, but it never really happened. And yesterday, man, not that you asked, but you're talking about a bullpen game. After what happened the night before, I thought we were in for it, and we, you know, as Canadian Jays fans, I mean, but I really did. It was just awesome to see them persevere, and players like Clements, and you know, everybody seemed to have a hand in something. Davis Schneider stepped up, who was sent down at the beginning of the year. Vladdy, who really needed it. You obviously Clement, you Savage. Say what you want about the bullpen, and they've had some iffy moments lately, but you know, yesterday was a bullpen game, and they gave it to them. So I think not only was the timing right for a lot of the best, well, for a lot of the players, never mind the best players, but I really feel good going into the next series, whoever it's against, because of that. I prefer Detroit, but you know, whatever, that's yet to be determined.
Yeah, well, it's and Skubal, the good, if you get Detroit, you don't get Skubal until Game 3 because he's pitching on Friday and wouldn't be available until Game 3 for Detroit. So at the most, you can make 2 starts in that series, I would think. So that would be that'd be good news for the Jays if they get there. But honestly, I don't think the Jays are worried about either one. I think the Jays, they match up very well. It's not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination, but if they keep getting contributions from everybody in their lineup like they have been hitting, and their pitchers just find ways to get outs, right? It's not always pretty, but it doesn't matter. Who cares if you strand 2 runners, 3, give up a walk here? There's, you know, some could say you're flirting with danger, fair, but they found ways to come up with key pitches at key times, and obviously had a boatload of massive hits from Lucas to Clement to obviously Vladdy Guerrero, but, you know, lots of other guys, Barger, lots of guys came up big at different times. Straw got an RBI last night as well. So it was, it definitely, when you say a team effort, that was a team effort. 8 different pitchers helped win that game. Meanwhile, the Edmonton Oilers, TR, they start the season and they're up 3-0. Things are looking good. And then they just decided to get sloppy, let Calgary get back in the game. Skinner, obviously the 3rd goal just can't happen. There's no question about it, but it's one like I look at Skinner, and outside of that one play, the rest of his game, I'm like, hey, it's pretty solid. He made some good saves down the stretch, made some good saves in overtime, but he made the biggest gaffe in the game. And he just, you got to find a way to get that. I'm not saying that he makes that specific play. I don't recall him making that, but it's about a focus point and be like, hey, right? Like, I'm on, they dump it in, it's in the corner. There's no hesitating. Done. We're moving the puck there, right? Defenseman, that's where I'm putting the puck every time. You figure it out. And, you know, it's an unfortunate play that it's one play, and there was other plays that helped to lead to the loss, but that was just the biggest one.
Yeah, you know, with so many, I guess, of Oilers Nation and I guess any eyes that are on the Oilers, doesn't have to be Oilers Nation, for the last year or two, you know, those questions about the goaltending, it wasn't a good optic, man. It didn't look great. But like you said, that's a one-off that anybody can make. You know, Martin Brodeur, Patrick, one of the best in the game that I've ever played. They've made blunders like that, and it doesn't really speak to your presence as a goalie, but it was a bad play at a bad time. But I sound like a broken record. I don't think it's anything to really, really worry about, that particular play, but the timing could have been better.
Oh, God, yeah, 100%. During the game, they announced that they've signed Jack Roslovich to a 1-year deal, Had a good season last year. He's a former first-round pick. He's actually had 2 22-goal seasons in 2 of the last 4 years, so it's pretty solid. So when you look at the 12 forwards who were in the game last night, and I don't think there was any injuries, which forward comes out of the lineup for Saturday to put in Roslovic?
So I only watched the highlights. I didn't see the whole game, so I don't really know. But as far as Roslovic, I really like this signing. I don't know how people in Edmonton are reacting, but I really like it. The guy's great 5-on-5. Isn't it only $1.5 million they got him for?
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a bargain basement price for a guy that's been talked about. I mean, we've been waiting to see where he was going to go. I think that's a fantastic fit. Get him for a good price, and you could kind of put him anywhere. You know, like anybody that's versatile, that's still kind of in his prime. I just think it was a great move, and I think it's a good problem to have. I wish I could tell you more on that, but unless I watch the whole game, I don't feel educated enough on the subject to really comment.
No, that's fair. Like, to me, Frederick, McDavid, Draisaitl, they're not coming out. Nugent Hopkins, Mangiapane, they're not coming out. I don't think Matt Savoy is coming out. So then it leaves their other 6 forwards. Podkolzin, no. You have Philper, Kapanen. Then you have Henrique, Tomasic's no. So to me, it's kind of between, and I don't think it's Henrique because he's a penalty killer. So I really think it comes down to Philp, Kapanen, or Howard. And personally, I really like Kapanen's game last night. So it's probably going to come down to one of Philp or Howard who comes out of the lineup. And if it's Philp, then they'll move Tomasic to center, and Roslovic will play wing. I think he's more of a winger than a center, at least to start anyway. And Roslovic comes in, he adds some more depth. It's competition. The big decisions are going to come later on this month, when Janmark is eligible to come off of a IR, then when Zach Hyman's eligible to come off of a LTIR. Like, obviously, when Hyman comes off, they'll have shed some salary, and there'll be a defenseman. They're not going to carry 8 defensemen because the 8th defenseman is really going to get to play anyway. But, when Wallman's healthy, maybe they'll send the defenseman down right away anyway. But, I look at the Oilers' makeup, and they're adding depth, and there's going to be great competition, Terry. Do you think they have enough sandpaper right now? When you look at, like, Frederick, I think, can play more with sandpaper. Podkolzin definitely can. He showed he had 7 hits last night. But do you think they have enough after that come playoff time? Or do you think that's something that they might have to add or look at before the deadline?
I think you always might have to add that, because every year at the trade deadline, that's what's added. Like, to me, you're going into the playoffs, no matter what, it's completely different than the regular season. I think of the 4 major sports, hockey has by far the craziest transition. It's a completely different game in the playoffs. And that sandpaper you speak of is one of the main elements now. Remember, we got Hyman, too. I don't know if you mentioned him as one of those guys.
Oh, yeah, when he's in.
Well, I remember last year in the playoffs, I think the first 2 or 3 games, he had 10, 12, 13 hits a game.
Oh, it's crazy.
So they've got players like that know when to turn it up. And there's other teams, that don't have that figured out. There's other teams in Canada that don't have that figured out. I don't want to name each and every one, but, some teams that have been in the playoffs for 10 years. And you just don't know what you're going to get. But that's what I like about the Oilers. You generally know what you're going to get from each of the players. But, yes, I think they probably will add more grit coming into the playoffs, as does any team. I think, what kind of grit, right? Is it going to be a forward, or is it going to be a D? Is it going to be someone like Roslovic who can play center as well? I didn't mention that. Grit comes in different forms. It's not always bare-knuckle fighting, but it can be. And in this case, I would always bet on yes. Going into the playoffs, I think the Oilers are going to be right there. I don't think it's going to be much different than last year. They're going to be one of the top teams in the league, and you're always looking to add a little bit of that.
The Oilers just announced that Jake Wallman's being placed on IR, so I guess that solves their problem. They don't even have to make a move, at least for the roster. You place Wallman on IR. Now, I don't know if they have enough caps. Oh, no, they do have cap space to just add Roslovic. So they won't have to make any other moves. So by moving him to IR, which means it's probably retroactive, which means he's not going to play Saturday, right? So Wallman won't play on Saturday. So they put him on IR, which can be retroactive. So he'll be out at least a week, which means he's, same as Janmark. And that's the way to get Roslovic on the roster. So.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think any of this at the beginning of the year is a bad problem to have. You got to get looks at guys too. There's players that are coming in, like I think you just mentioned, Regula. I know that I'm high on this guy, and I think he's going to be a great player, but he's missed a lot of time. And at the beginning, even that Skinner play you mentioned, like these are things that usually are ironed out in the exhibition, but it just gives you an extra bit of time to look at people that probably wouldn't be getting as much time otherwise. So good problem to have.
Yeah. Oh, hey, having the competition, TR competition. This is where guys, because we know there's certain guys, Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl, McDavid, they're not in competition for ice time. But after that, there's a lot of other guys now that are going to be in a healthy competition.
There are, and by the way, I did see enough of the game, and I read all about it to know that I'm kind of intrigued by big right-hand shot. That Tomasek, is it? He made a nice play on that goal. I think it was Draisaitl, but the more I've been watching him and paying attention, I think he's a very intriguing player to say the least. And there's a lot of players that the Oilers have that I think are in the position to maybe possibly have a career year. Just in that age and potential, they got a lot of guys like that.
Yeah. We'll take a quick break. Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan with you, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. When we come back, Jamie Campbell will join us as the fever that is catching the nation. We'll discuss it on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Gilbert here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade: safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Mr. Rooter meets a ghost.
1 plunge, 2, and 3. A toilet clogged with a ghost? Man, I love plumbing. You're free now.
I will never find peace. The clog is fixed, yes, but I have never trusted the sump.
No problemo. I can fix that. Now go to the light, you little scamp.
Thank you, Mr. Rooter.
To resolve your unfinished plumbing business, trust one plumber, Mr. Rooter.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience, but it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-471-7380 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can noodle at noodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order noodle at noodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order noodle.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Edmonton Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy, designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. I'm super excited to tell you today that we have fed over 250 families so far with our Feed 500 Families event. With that said, we are still short of our goal. We have decided to continue this on through to the end of October. With your help and your support, we can get this done. Please stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
Yo, we notorious. Ain't nobody can bang. Rap through checkmate, going down the truth. Shot clear coming down with the door to touch. Yo.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, a variety of excellent and non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Connor Halley with you, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, as well as YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show. We got a lot of text about our Thursday segment, so check it out. Stop in, get some celebratory beers for Thanksgiving, or maybe if you're a Jays fan for the big win over the Yankees. First time they've ever met the Yankees in this playoffs, and they are 1-0 now against the New York Yankees. As we get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Ice. And did you know, coming up, man, a huge curling event going on starting next week, the 14th to the 19th. Lots of the best curlers coming into Silent Ice Center. You can get your tickets at the Grand Slam of Curling.com. So it should be a great event that starts on the 14th through until the 19th. Gentleman who I have to think was quite excited, of course, for the entire series, but definitely last night as the Toronto Blue Jays victorious over the Yankees. They now move on to the ALCS. We'll find out Friday night who they're going to play. It's either Seattle or Detroit. Jamie Campbell, longtime host at Sportsnet. Of course, he's the Jays host. Jamie, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
Oh, Jason, nice to be with you.
Well, it's quite a time to be a Jays fan, covering the Jays. This is a team it's hard not to like them because they have a lot of, they got a superstar, obviously got a few superstars, I think it's fair to say, but they got a lot of kind of, lunch bucket guys. And like Ernie Clement, we'll get to Vladdy in a sec, but I want to talk about Ernie Clement's series against the Yankees. Like, he put up huge numbers and was RBIs, hits, getting on base, hit a home run. Like, the guy did it all that series.
He is something else. I mean, this is a player who, I don't know, 2 years ago, as recently as 2 years ago, had no idea if he was going to be able to stick in the major leagues after he was waived by the then Oakland Athletics. And to where he's come to this point, he had 9 hits in that series against the Yankees, including what I call the accidental home run that he hit on Sunday at the Rogers Center when he just reached out and poked a fly ball to left field that looked like a can of corn, and it ended up in the seats for a 2-0 lead for the Blue Jays. I'm not at all surprised given the person he is, but pleasantly surprised given that, as you stated, he's not a superstar. And there aren't that many superstars on this team. There are, as you stated, the lunch bucket types. Ernie certainly classifies as that, but he just finished up a 4-game series against the Yankees where he had 9 hits, where Vladimir Guerrero Jr. had 9 hits. The only other time in a division series where teammates have had 9 hits in said series was the 95 Yankees with Don Mattingly, who now is an employee of the Blue Jays, I might add, and Bernie Williams. So what Ernie is doing is quite special. And given that he grew up in Rochester, New York, to do it against the Yankees probably felt special for him.
Jamie, yesterday was the epitome of a team win. 8 pitchers combined in the 9 innings, limit the Yankees to only 2 runs. And you know what? Hey, they stranded a lot of base runners, did the Yankees. So there might have been a walk that added to the angst and the blood pressure of the Jays fans and maybe even the management and pitching coach. But they got the outs when they needed them. What did you make of that performance yesterday? And what was your thoughts going in to a bullpen start in Game 4 of a playoff series?
Let's be honest. Bullpen games are not sexy. So what those 8 pitchers did last night will never go down, in my estimation, in the annals of Blue Jays postseason history the way, and I recited this on Blue Jay Central yesterday. 40 years ago yesterday, in the first playoff game this franchise ever played, Dave Steeb started against the Kansas City Royals, went 8 innings and didn't give up a run in a 6-1 victory. Those are the things that are remembered, but nobody seems to wish to remember 8 different pitchers compiling an outstanding effort against Cam Schlittler, who in the final game of the wild card series against the Boston Red Sox threw one of the greatest single game postseason performances in the history of the game. So the timing was incredible. 1, they'd blown a 6-1 lead the day before. 2, in doing so, and not getting a very good start out of Shane Bieber, they had to utilize a ton of arms. And so the idea that they would exhaust the bullpen in Game 3 and need pretty well every single one of them again in Game 4 did not exactly bode well if you're, someone who plays the betting odds. So to think that people would have readily picked the Blue Jays to win that game last night based on this knowledge was probably wrong. But I've been watching this club all year, and I know how they roll. So none of it really surprises me. Okay. None of the run production surprises me. None of the sharp play surprises me. They were so sloppy in Game 3. They tidied it up and quickly. You may have noticed how, for example, in Game 3, Addison Barger committed the error that really led to the surging comeback of the Yankees. Well, every time there was a pop-up toward third base in last night's game, the shortstop, Andres Jimenez, was over to cover for Barger, right? Mm-hmm. That was something that was clearly discussed pregame, and that was an assignment Jimenez had clearly been given. And I haven't even spoken to him about it. I just can tell that this is the way this team does things. They might make mistakes one day, might lose a ball game in an uncharacteristic way at various points. But my goodness, their preparation, their attention to detail is second to nobody in Major League Baseball right now. It's incredible to watch, and it's one of the reasons why they were able to dispatch the Yankees in 4 games.
Jamie Campbell joins us. Jamie, when you look at matchups, do you see a better one between Detroit and Seattle for the Jays?
I don't want to sit here and make that claim, because then somebody might come back at me if they get swept by whoever I choose is my preferred opponent. I will say this, because the Tigers are starting Tarek Skubal in a must-win in Seattle tomorrow night. The fact that he will not be available for Game 1 of a 7-game series is advantageous, right? Because that would mean if you keep it lower than a 7-game series, he's only pitching once. He would pitch Game 3 for Detroit if the Tigers are the ones who advance. Regardless of what happens tomorrow night, we do know this. Both the Tigers and the Mariners had to finish up a game yesterday and fly all the way to the West Coast. They'll play a game tomorrow night, and then one of them will fly all the way back to the east side of the continent. And that's exhausting. Anybody who's traveled the country in that regard knows that, that kind of travel, regardless if it's in some kind of a customized private jet, is exhausting. So here are the Blue Jays sitting at home, probably nursing a gigantic hangover from the party last night, just waiting and resting and getting ready to go, knowing that both Gausman likely in game 1 and Trey Savage likely in game 2, and quite possibly Bo Bichette, right, being added to the championship series roster, are well rested, ready to go.
Jamie, looking at, and speaking of Bo Bichette, what's your thoughts? Do you think he'll be, would he be on the roster for the ALCS?
I do think he's going to be on the roster.
Okay.
And I say that based on some comments he made in a scrum in the clubhouse last night with, among others, Shai Davidi of Sportsnet. And it was a little bit vague, but what he was saying was that he was feeling awfully good and that he was feeling very confident that he was going to be ready. And nobody there seemed to ask him what he was going to be ready for. And Bo can be interesting that way. He gives you the information he wants to give you, not necessarily the information you need sometimes. So you have to really listen to what he has to say. And what I took from it was that he's claiming that all he has to do in the next few days is get to the point of running bases hard, and he'll be ready to go. So I think based on what he said last night in that clubhouse celebration, if he's not on the roster by Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time, then I'll be shocked.
Now, do you think, could they bring him in and just be a DH? Or do you think if he's going to play, he's going to be in both sides?
I think if Bo is ready to come back, Bo needs to resume playing his position, which is shortstop, which would then push Andres Jimenez over to second base, which then creates what the Blue Jays have been calling all year a good problem to have, is what to do with those who've been manning those different positions ever since. It would then push, if you want both George Springer and Anthony Santander in the lineup, and Santander's at-bats were quite good. His numbers may not have been good, but the at-bats in this series were good. So it would be hard for me to see him not put on the roster. So now you're going to need Springer in the lineup, but playing in right field.
Mm-hmm.
Santander is the DH, Bo Bichette at short, and then you work around.
Well, Ernie Clement's got to be your third baseman, the way he's playing, doesn't he not?
Ernie Clement playing third base.
Yeah.
Ernie Clement playing second base if necessary, if you sit Jimenez for a game.
Right.
I mean, my goodness, the way Ernie Clement's been hitting, you can, I mean, if you need a catcher, grab the gear, kid, because, I mean, what he's done in this first series has been, again, remarkable, not at all surprising, though.
Yeah, I think your scenario, Bo at second, Bichette at second, and then Jimenez at second, because he's maybe the best defensive infielder in the game right now. You put
That's
Clement,
what his manager says.
Yeah, you put Clement at third. So then it really comes down to Barger and Santander is who you'd want as your DH. Because I agree with you. You got Springer's automatic. He's in, so you play him in outfield. Yeah. Which one would you have right now, Santander or Barger as your DH?
Well, Barger looks a wee bit lost at the plate in general in the last couple of weeks. It's been a long season for him, and he's still a fresh face, and sometimes some of these youngsters are unaccustomed with the additional workload. But he is, as we know, a violent swinger who is a threat to hit it out of the ballpark at any time.
Yeah, so he had 3 hits last night.
Yeah, that's to be considered. Yeah, one of them was a little number down the third baseline that had no business being a base hit. But either way, I could see him being the odd person out here. I don't think you'd see him doing DH time, because if you look at the numbers, George Springer's resurgence this year, his rebirth, I mean, he'll be without fail the most valuable player of this team, at least from a regular season standpoint, when the year is tabulated at the end. A lot of the reason why he was able to become that offensive force is because of the time off his feet and having to be the designated hitter and only the designated hitter, and at his age, not spending too much time running around in the outfield. So, if you need him and Santander back in the lineup, then from a defensive perspective, Springer has to be in right field. Santander's got to be the DH. And I would say Addison Barger's probably a bench option late in a ball game.
Okay. Now, pitching, you get to a best of 7. They're going to have 4 starters. And so, I could see, Briel being the guy that comes out of the bullpen. And so they add a starting pitcher. Bassett or Scherzer? Who do you think it's going to be, Jamie, and why?
Ooh, my guess would be if they're picking up an additional starter for the series, and they will, it will be Bassett over Scherzer.
Yeah.
For a couple of reasons. One, tenure, right? Bassett's been with the franchise 3 years. Scherzer joined at the beginning of the season. Scherzer might be going to the Hall of Fame. I understand that. But his last, 5 or 6 starts were unimpressive. And I don't think they can risk that. So I would guess Bassett will be the 4th starter added to the roster.
Yeah, that would make sense.
There's an interesting, and this happens in pretty well every team sport, is that loyalty goes out the window the moment you get closer to winning a championship. I mean, consider this. Their number 2 starter started the year in single A, and he has jumped ahead of Jose Barrios, Chris Bassett, and a first ballot Hall of Famer in Max Scherzer. He has leapt ahead of those 3 men and taken over the 2nd spot in the rotation. That's not loyalty. That is, we don't give a rat's derriere. Our intention is to win it all, and everybody's got to understand this. And the best part of it is that they all do. I mean, you might see a long-faced Jose Barrios on the bench watching these games, and I can tell you he's not happy with the fact that he's not participating. But no one, as far as I've been told, has complained loudly and to the group about, their demotion from within.
Yeah. And honestly, nor should they, because the goal is to win. And as hard as it is, the goal is to win. Barrios it'd be hard to say, well, geez, I wish I was pitching ahead of Trey Savage. How, there's players know, right?
No,
you couldn't look yourself in the mirror at the end of the night and say, well, I think I should be playing ahead of him.
Yeah,
I don't think so. Jamie, we'll be watching with excitement. Of course, lots of Jays coverage leading up to, of course, Saturday. And then, of course, Sunday, Monday, Thanksgiving weekend, back-to-back games. And we'll have them right here on Sports 1440. So we look forward to it.
Great stuff, Jason. Enjoy your evening.
Thanks, man. That's Jamie Campbell. And that's right. Sports 1440 will be, if you're driving around, we'll have the games right here on radio Sunday and Monday. Lots of excitement, of course. It is Holiday Monday, so we're off. We'll have the Jays. Whenever the game starts, we will have it on Sports 1440. We got a lot of text to get to. We'll return to that. And also lots of changes coming. As always, we'll answer some of those questions next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Monopoly Double Play is back at McDonald's. So let's practice winning. You just won 25 grand and go.
Yes.
I said 25 grand.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Much better. Okay, now you just won a brand new Chevrolet Corvette. I think you just fainted. Impressive. Feel like a winner on pack and in-app. Monopoly Double Play is back. While supplies last, 1 in 5 chances to win game piece prizes at outset. Chances to win draw prizes depend on number of entries in each draw. Cash prizes payable by e-transfer. See rules in-app.
Edmonton's home for sports is Sports 1440. After every game this season, tune in to Andrew Walker for the post-game show. Let's talk some hockey. Let's talk about the game on Sports 1440.
At Wendy's, $4 gets you more than just a burger. It gets you a Dave's Single, made with a quarter pound of fresh, never frozen Canadian beef. All for just $4 at participating Wendy's. Taxes extra. But hurry, this deal ends October 26th.
Backed by popular demand, Folsom Prison Revisited. The story of one of the greatest concerts in history returns to the Jubilee Auditorium. November 22nd. Step back in time before, during, and after this iconic Johnny Cash performance, featuring Devin Brain from $1 Million Quartet and an all-star band. You'll relive an event that changed the life of Johnny Cash and changed music forever. Tickets at Ticketmaster.ca and at the Jubilee box office. Brought to you by Stars and Stories Live.
October 24th and 25th, hit the courts for Feisty Pickles, the first ever 24 hours of continuous pickleball action. Starts Friday night at Race Athletics in St. Albert. It puts the fun in fundraising for Breathing Space, a groundbreaking lung transplant house. Recruit your team of 4 to 20 players and get your paddles ready to play. Feisty Pickles, Alberta Lungs 24-hour pickleball challenge. Register by October 15th at ablung.ca.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan for all your residential water needs. Your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Yeah, we don't have TR, right? 3:45. Welcome back. Thursday afternoon on the Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Many of you may be listening on the app or on podcast. Thank you. However you digest the show, we very much appreciate it. Of course, the orders, if you missed it, Jake Wallman has been placed on IR, which, and they could do that retroactive. So he's got to be out at least a week. So he will miss Saturday's game. That's the quick solution to get Jack Roslovich on the roster. And so they don't have to send anybody down. They don't have to make any other moves. That's the easiest way to do it. And it gives them some extra time. Now, when Wallman comes off of IR, when Janmark comes off of IR, they're going to have to make some decisions, at least 2 players, unless somebody else can go on IR, because they are cap compliant. So that's the update for the orders and their roster. They'll be back on the ice tomorrow. Jack Roslovich will be on the ice for the Edmonton Oilers. And now let's get to speaking of changes, there's always lineup changes. There's always questions in the lineup. We'll get to some other lineup questions now. The Race Report brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the terror? So it's simple. Buy Canadian. And even better, buy right here in Edmonton, the city of champions, because that's where Cantork's products are made. 100% Edmonton, 100% Canadian. Cantork.com. As Colin Livingston joins us once again. And speaking of lineup changes, the Red Bull, we know who their starter is, but the backup, if we want to call it that, in racing, Liam Lawson's kind of being up and down. What do you make of Red Bull? And they can't catch McLaren, so they can really use these final races as somewhat to decide what they're going to do with their second car.
I think they've already decided.
Okay.
This year, obviously, the second seat at Red Bull's been shared by Lawson. They only gave him 2 races and punted him down, knocked Yuki Tsunoda up. Yuki's maybe done a bit better in that seat than Lawson did. Lawson candidly was doing okay when he went back to the RB team. Had a terrible weekend in Singapore. But yeah, it looks like
Hadjar, is that the guy?
Hadjar should move up to Red Bull next year. And then it looks like they're going to likely part with Lawson. They're likely going to part with Tsunoda and work with like Arvid Lindblad, Alex Dunn. There's a bunch of junior drivers that are either current F2 that they're kind of going into rebuild mode.
Okay. Of those drivers, Dunn or Lindblad, Do you know enough about either one to think that which one would be a better fit?
Dunn's had a really, really solid F2 campaign until this week. Last week, he was a McLaren development driver. The fact that he ended that association was the indication that something else was going on. Not sure that Dunn would move up next year, or if they would kind of do one F2 year as a Red Bull development driver and then look at potentially moving him up in 2027. Lindblad is also another solid contender. The thing is, this all falls under Skeletor, Helmut Marko, who is just vicious when it comes to their junior drivers for sure. Who was it? Lawson had a pretty good weekend 2 races ago. And he said, I knew it was a good weekend because I didn't hear from Helmut. And he's like, when you have a bad weekend, he'll call you at 6 o'clock the next morning and you're expected to answer when he's on the phone because, he'll rip the guys to pieces, but he doesn't do a lot of rebuilding. And even in the Army, I mean, I'm a former soldier. You get torn down, but then you get built back up, and they just don't seem to have that. Max was able to kind of get through that because he was kind of the chosen one, and he had success right from the beginning. They've developed that program around him, so he doesn't have to deal with any of that, especially now that he's a 4-time champion. But clearly their driver lineup since Daniel Ricciardo was beside Verstappen has been questionable at best.
Cadillac is going to join F1 next year, which will mean 22 cars on the track. And that'll change qualifying a bit because now it'll go 22 and then they'll drop 6 the first time and then they'll go to 16 and then they'll drop 6 again. There'll still be 10 who battle it out for Q3. But do you have any, have they announced who their drivers are?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that's confirmed.
Okay. So they got 2 veterans there. What's your expectations for Cadillac?
Not much.
No.
Well, no, I mean, candidly, it's going to be a brand new,
like an expansion team for anybody out there who's not a racing fan. Like it's like an expansion team in hockey.
It is. They're jumping in at the new regulation, period. They won't have any established experience with any of the chassis. It's a brand new chassis next year. They're running the Ferrari engine. Now, while the Ferrari engine seems like it's making decent power, Ferrari obviously hasn't had a lot of success, just the way their chassis is.
Yeah.
So, expectations are very, very low. Just me personally. Bottas, I believe, still has the capability to drive. Perez, I don't know what he's going to bring to the table, but I think the long-term program is they want to run Colton Herta, who has run an IndyCar the last bunch of years. They want to start him in an F2 campaign, potentially as early as this year already, with the hopes that he can get enough points to move up there in the next year or so.
Now, there's this big lawsuit going on with McLaren and Alex Palou, who's the best driver in IndyCar. And he had left Chip Ganassi to join the McLaren's IndyCar program back in 2023. Then Chip Ganassi said they held an option on Palou, which they were exercising. They went to court, and they found that Ganassi held his rights. But now McLaren's suing him. Like there's a personal suing against Palou. Like why?
Because what McLaren is saying is that they signed, like he agreed to sign with McLaren. That's not in dispute.
So they're saying he didn't know his own contract.
They're saying that he signed a contract that he shouldn't have been able to sign.
Yeah.
But because the breach happened in the States, that's where they first went to court. Ganassi proved that his option on Palou was the first line. Now McLaren is saying that it's, they've suffered $20 million in damages. But as the case is unfolding, there's a lot of really, really strange stuff because this all goes back to the same time that McLaren also signed Oscar Piastri. Before, like people maybe forget, Piastri was affiliated with Alpine. And Alpine basically rushed the gun and said, hey, we're signing Piastri. Piastri very famously, and it's become every time somebody makes a signing now, the joke is that, he said Alpine have released a statement without my consent saying that I'll drive for them. It's like, I haven't signed anything. I'm not going to be with Alpine. I'm going to be racing with McLaren. So what it sounds like happened behind the scenes is that Zach Brown was going after Palou with the idea like, look, move over to our McLaren IndyCar team. This is going to position you to move up to be with our F1 team. He saw that once they signed Piastri, there's no more seat available for him. So he went back, obviously Ganassi fought for him, and very wisely, because now he's a 4-time champion. But yeah, it sounds like some of the transcript I read today shows that a lot of the negotiation was done over WhatsApp, and a lot of the communication was done over WhatsApp, which they ended up deleting messages, which now Palou's people are saying they destroyed evidence. So it has the potential to get a little bit uglier before it gets any better.
Do you think this pretty much ends any chance Palou has of coming back to F1?
Oh yeah, now that he's like 28, it's not practical. Like even if he wanted to
why?
go,
If he's a really good driver, why would they care about age?
it gets to be a little bit late, because the F1 style is so different from an Indy car. Like what you have to do in the car, the systems, the style, like everything's different.
Right.
I don't know that there's a hockey comparison, like, learning to go play in the KHL versus playing in the NHL. But the closest would probably be if you're running Olympic ice versus NHL ice, like trying to figure out how to play that faster, longer passing game. But, if you can start in F2 when you're 18 years old and, kind of associate yourself with the teams, grow up in their systems, and then even going from F2 to F1 is a massive jump, but going across from IndyCar, it's happened. It's just not all that easy.
Okay. And I don't know if we really want to recap and kind of know what happened in F1, but Christian Horner reportedly for millions of dollars settled the inappropriate behavior lawsuit against a former employee. Do you think he's done in F1, isn't he?
I am not sure, because I can't really properly complete the sentence, but money talks and BS walks. He has fairly deep pockets. He can come to the table with a decent amount of cash behind him. I don't think he would want to come back as just a team principal. He would want to have a stake, kind of like what Toto Wolff has done.
Okay.
It really sounds like there's not a lot of interest.
Yes.
The only place that it seems like there might be a home for him is at Alpine, with, Flavio is essentially a part-time guy. He has no ethical qualms whatsoever, other than racing. Like, it wouldn't matter what you did in your personal life, what you're guilty of, as long as you can be effective within the team is all he cares about. And, he's been caught cheating and manipulating more than anyone. I don't know where else he could end up, but I'd say it's fairly unlikely. I don't know why he would want to, other than for ego, because he's, been part of 8 drivers championships, numerous constructors championships, built the team from the ground up, essentially, to go back and potentially have, like we're seeing sort of with Lewis Hamilton, not quite the same comparison, but why he would want to kind of go through and risk what has, like, he doesn't need money.
Mhm.
He, maybe wants to stay part of it, but he could always invest in a team. I guess the answer is I don't know. I think it's unlikely, but a lot stranger things have happened in Formula One. That's for sure.
That is very true. Colin, great stuff, buddy. We'll talk about the next race next Thursday. Have yourself a great weekend.
Thank you very much.
There you go. That's Colin Livingston in the Racing Report, brought to you by Can Torque. Coming up in the 4:00 hour today. Of course, we'll get back. We'll update you on the Oilers. There's always some news there. Corey Laviolette will join us because we're going to get a breakdown of Jack Roslovich. We'll go to Carolina, where last year Jack Roslovich had a pretty good season, led them in 5-on-5 scoring, in goals, and in points. Was tied with Sebastian Aho in even strength goals and second in even strength points. So, he wasn't playing with their top dogs, or was he? We'll find out with Corey Laviolette. We'll hear from Stan Bowman on why he went out and acquired Mr. Roslovich, which is pretty good AAV at $1.5 million. It's There's always slight risk, of course, but I think this is a low risk with a high reward potential to get a player like that. But first, let's get to our Sports 1440 update brought to you by Loca. Loca is not your average grocery store. They're a butcher, a baker, a cafe, a deli, rotisserie, pizzeria, all under one roof. 2 locations in Sherwood Park and on the West End on 142nd Street. Check them out, loca.ca. Here's Connor.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Okay, so you missed it, a little roster with the Oilers. So they placed defenseman Jake Wallman on the IR. With that designation, he'll miss at least 1 week. So it could be shorter if the designation goes back to the start of the season. 14 games on the ice tonight. You got the Canadiens in Detroit. Lightning host the Sens. Flames out in Vancouver. Flyers meet the Panthers. And the Blues will host the Minnesota Wild. National League Divisional Series roll on tonight. Dodgers looking to wrap up their series with the Phillies just after 4 o'clock. Then at 7, you got the Cubbies trying to keep their series against the Brewers going, down 2-1. And Week 6 in the NFL kicks off tonight with the Eagles heading to MetLife to take on the New York Giants. 6:15 start time. Eagles defenders Jalen Carter and Nakobe Dean both listed as questionable. The Giants will be without receiver Darius Slate. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll hear Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. We'll go to Raleigh and talk some Carolina Hurricanes with Corey Lavalette, and it's another edition of 5 Questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Sure, your couch is comfortable, but watching the game is always better and on the rocks. With crystal clear TVs, you won't miss a single play, and the specials are a major league win. Pre-game warm-up starts with specials 30 minutes before the puck drops. Get 69-cent wings and $5.75 Molson Canadian and Coors Light drafts, and play score and win every game for your chance to win big. Be part of the action this hockey season. See the menu online at ontherocksYEG.com.
Ah, Hawaii. The warmth of a golden sunset as the waves roll in. The freshness of a waterfall. The lush scent of tropical flowers in the air. You don't need to travel to enjoy all Hawaii has to offer. You just need to order pizza. Bring Hawaii home with the Aloha Trio, available for a limited time at Papa John's. Try our classic Hawaiian, Super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken for just $19.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
They're not just a grocery store. They're a butcher, a baker, a cafe, deli, rotisserie, pizza, and restaurant, all under one roof. Loca Quality Market does food differently with 2 locations to serve you. Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Visit loca.ca.
Carve out for a cause at the Jason Gregor Pizza Pig Out, presented by GS Construction. Thursday, November 6th at the Canadian Ice House. Indulge in unlimited pizza from amazing local pizzerias while you help raise some dough for kids' sport. Then vote for your favorite slice to help crown the People's Choice Award winners. Tickets to join Edmonton's biggest and best adult pizza party are just $30. Head to jasongregorpizzapigout.com for more details and to buy tickets.
GMC 0% event is on now. Get 0% financing on all remaining 2025 GMC models on limited terms, like the 2025 Sierra 1500 Elevation Crew Cab at 0% financing for 84 months. The 2025 Terrain Elevation All-Wheel Drive at 0% financing for 60 months. And the 2025 Canyon at 0% financing for 36 months. No matter what you need, there's a GMC for you. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
We get some rules to follow.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Northwest Crane, available for all your lifting and equipment needs, specializing in selling and servicing cranes. Get lifting at northwestcrane.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$4:05. Man, we are wheeling through. We're already halfway down the show today. I love it. Happy Thursday to you. Of course, lots going on coming up. You got the doubleheader. How many of you are going to the doubleheader? And speaking of the doubleheader, of course, it's Elks and the Oilers down at Play Alberta Field on Saturday. A must-win game for the green and gold. Well, you know what? It's Thanksgiving Day weekend. So we've got 2 4-packs. So the family can go to the game and enjoy it on. Let me just double check that before I speak. I got to make sure that I hope I don't just have one. Maybe I only have one. Let me double check.
You got 2.
I have 2. Okay. Oh, did you get them already?
Someone reached out to me and said that they had them. So,
okay. Yeah. Okay.
It was Kennedy.
Okay, it's Kennedy. Yes. So yeah, let's do that. So we have 2 sets of 4. So you want to take the family to the game, and you know what? Maybe you got 3 kids, take the kids. Mom or dad get the other one gets a day off, or you take the 2 kids, and away you go. Weather looks to be great. It's a 5:00 start against the Bombers. It's a must-win game. It's kind of like a playoff game. Really, it is. Elks win. They stay in the race, baby. They'll move within 2 points of the Bombers or the final playoff spot. Toronto's being eliminated. Ottawa's being eliminated. And so there's one final playoff spot remaining, and the Elks are going to try to get it. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Text us there in our email inbox. Just text in family pack with your name and your email, and away you go. 833-401-1440. It is the Gregor Show, is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game, use the promo code Gregor50, and you make a $50 deposit, they'll match it with Gregor50. So it's a 2-for-1 deal at PlayAlberta.ca. As Terry Ryan is back with us, and TR, it's interesting. Oilers fans are pretty fired up about the Stuart Skinner goal, and rightfully so. Like, that's the Oilers made a lot of bad plays in the game, but that's the worst one. And it's early in a third period. And so I get that there's pressure on. And, Stuart Skinner, actually, I like how he tracked the puck. I liked his movement. I really liked the save he made on the power play late in the third period. And then again to start overtime, you're like, hey, got across, made it look easy. That part's all good. But it just seems at times like there's just a mental focus thing. And if you want to go to the next level, you have to eliminate the big mental lapses.
Yeah, I know it. Like, but with so much criticism because of the same sort of things last year, and I know any Oilers player that makes a bonehead move, and we all do it, we've all done it, every player does it, but there's certain people that, because of recent history, they might have to spotlight them on it a little bit. That's why I said earlier, it was a terrible optic for the first game of the year. But it's a mistake. People make mistakes, and not all of them are so blatant and magnified. But in this particular case, and I've always picked up for Skinner, and I still am picking up for Skinner. I think it seems like that goal was just a mental lapse, a bit of an outlier, but he doesn't have much runway here. Like there's not a whole lot of leash here. And I'm just saying that as a fan, but I'm thinking from fans, brass, teammates, because of the criticisms that have come his way. When you can look at the history of any successful goalie, obviously there's going to be peaks and valleys. But generally, good goalies who have their head on their shoulders tend to be rather consistent, at least when it comes to those bonehead kind of plays. Okay. And I say bonehead, it was a bonehead play. I mean, that's what it is. So, like I said, I'm still behind him. I'm still confident he can get the job done, but I don't know how many more times we can see a goal like that and not be hovering around. I'm not going to say the panic button, but definitely the let's move on button. And I hope that doesn't happen, because he's generally seems like a good teammate, and he does seem to be fairly strong mentally, but you just can't be doing that too often. And once that becomes even remotely consistent, I think you just got to start looking elsewhere.
Jake Wallman moved to IR this week. Now that's easy, just because he wasn't going to play on Saturday anyway. So you move him to IR. It's retroactive, so he's out a week. It gives him a few extra days to make a decision on who's going to have to come off the roster. Right, that's what it does. But somebody's going to have to come out of the lineup for the next game. So there is that decision by the head coach. But any concern at all? Like Jake Wallman, it's early in the year. I've heard core issue that like core issues can last a long time. TR, and I get that you got to be ultra cautious with it, but this was supposed to be, hey, we think he's going to be ready for game one. Now he's not ready for game one. Now he's not ready for game two. We saw this a little bit last year. When does it become an issue for you? How long and how many games does he miss before you're like, okay, this is a bigger problem than we think?
Well, of the times of the year, the biggest, I would think the most games and the most time would probably be given now, because you're at the beginning of the season. And of course, 2 points are 2 points. And at the end of the year, whether you're struggling to make the playoffs or whether you want first place, these points do count.
Mm-hmm.
But the Oilers are deep in the first place. I'm not saying it's a great thing, but if this is March or something, I'm thinking, okay, like we got to make a move here. Like what's going on? Like what how is your health? Can you play, first of all? And like, how are you going to help us in the playoffs? But we're in game one. So if it's me, I'm really, as a player, I'm waiting until I'm 100%. If I'm anybody that's concerned, it's the same sort of thing. So I'm thinking, with something so vague and that often takes a while, I would just give it as much time as possible. Now, it's not going to be 3 and 4 months or anything. It's not that kind of injury. So I would guess, worried isn't the word, but I guess I'd start to be concerned after a half dozen games maybe. But again, you're on the inside of that room. You're probably thinking, we got no reason to rush this guy. We got plenty of people. If you didn't have as good of a team and as much depth or other people that could do the job, but I'm looking at each and every player that's playing in front of him right now is injured at his position, and they got no reason to panic. So I'd give him as much time as he possibly needs.
TR, I'm going to let you listen to the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate because I want to get your thoughts on it. We'll get to the 2-minute warning now. Cam Tate, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how to build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town. Cam born with cerebral palsy. He's in a wheelchair due to his disability. Always wanted to be on radio, but couldn't until now. And here is the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate.
This next broadcast experience is heavy and heavy with numbers. Heavy, you understand. Starting with the University of British Columbia, Okanagan. 3333 University Way, Kelowna, BC. The campus that produced a research paper with a puck-rattling conclusion about National Hockey League players who lace up for their hometown teams. Got that there, Gregor? Hometown teams. Now, smoke on this. $264,000. Yes. 264 grand, Connor Halley. That's the quantified windfall of fan engagement, loyalty, and raw turnstile magic when the hometown kid pulls on the jersey. Numbers don't lie, but they do sing. And these ones croon like a choir of cash registers echoing through the concourse on game night. Well now, the professors at UBC Okanagan have pinned numbers to an old prairie hunch. A hometown player is worth more than a line on the roster. Their study shows he draws 12,000 extra fans per game. Think back to St. Albert's own Mark Messier strapping on the Oiler crest. He wasn't just another forward. He was the roar of Edmonton, the embodiment of Alberta grit, skating straight from the backyard rinks to the big lights. Enter the name Stuart Skinner, the Sherwood Park goaltender, whose story until now has been one of steady rise and quiet resolve. Let a puck slip by. A third goal he could have stopped in his sleep, but now lingers as a nightmare. It opened the door to a Calgary Flames comeback, a 4-3 loss, and the consternation of a fan base that wears its heart and its doubts on its sleeves. Do we call it one play, one mistake, costly yet forgivable? Or do we begin to question from the very first game, opening night? 22,000 fans at an average of $140 a ticket makes for a question. A $264,000 a game question. 2-minute warning. Weekdays. Gregor, Halley, Tate. Sports 1440.
What do you think, TR, on the local boy, the importance of it, but also the pressure of it?
Well, the first thing I'm curious, but by the way, I love Cam's takes. But what's the $264,000? How are they generating that number?
Well, it's generated by the amount of crowd. They're saying there's a connection, a correlation that brings crowds into that brings some fans to the game. That's based on their study. Because they pay
but
for
their study going to take into account that they're going to sell out anyway? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, hey, he's just quoting what they are. They're saying that when you have a local guy and historically it leads to more ticket sales. It's basically what they're saying.
Okay, so I leave some more. Those numbers I don't quite get or even believe, to be honest with you. It just doesn't make sense. Mark Messier brought 12,000 fans in. What are you talking about? It would have sold out anyway. Now, but what I am going to do, because I think that's kind of irrelevant to what I'm going to say and what you're kind of asking me. I do think the hometown guy matters a lot. I really do. If you're think about it, Edmonton is a bigger city in Canada, but it's the kind of place that people tend to be, what's the word? Not blue collar, but they talk like a lot of the Oilers are glue that brings together the whole place. Now you get local guys playing for the Oilers, or again, this example goes throughout the league and throughout sports almost. But think about it, a place in Edmonton. A lot of people in Edmonton right now could tell me the top 5 or 6 players, say U15 in, I don't know, Spruce Grove, Sherwood Park, wherever, right? Wherever, the whole city of Edmonton. I mean, I went out to Cornell when I was 14 and I heard about guys over there, Lankow and Surrey and Chris Dingman and Ryan Smith. I heard about the guys from Alberta. I knew exactly who was at the top of the list now. So that scuttlebutt is created. It's one thing right now for me to get up, put out, talk about the Jays or whatever as a great, concerned, nation-loving, baseball pride-loving fan that's just so enamored with it. But I don't really have a connection other than kind of knowing Davis Schneider. I don't, we cheer because it's Canada. But when you got a horse in the race, it brings the community together even more, I think. Little things can do that. Like a Connor McDavid taking a cut like that, huge, right? Everybody in the community is like, and then he becomes part of the community that way, like a stronger part. He's doing something for us here, guys. But when you're actually from there, I'm telling you, you can ask any player, ask even Mitch Marner. If it didn't go sideways out in Toronto because of other reasons, I mean, I'm sure he loved playing for his hometown. People in Toronto, I mean, I've been there a lot the last 5 or 6 years. I mean, my whole life, the last 5 or 6 years, I've been there almost half the year. And generally, even people criticize, they like, especially people that played minor hockey with and against Mitch, they speak about him very proudly. And as much as you might get criticisms in Leafs Nation, you're at that game, and everybody in the building knew that Mitch, and there's others, but I'm just using that as an example, was from there, and they were generally proud of it. So as much criticism as a guy like Stuart Skinner gets, and he gets, but I'm also of the, hopefully it's an outlier and it's forgivable, right? And outside of, if I knew nothing about last year or the year before, I would definitely look at last night and say, that's a great goalie, and that's just a forgivable little outlying mistake that he made, right? But there is a little bit more to it because of what we know. But as far as being from hometown, I mean, I don't want to get personal with it. But when I played for the Growlers, think about all the people that people came out. It was a nice hockey story, but the reason it was at home, it really felt like it brought the community together. Like when I went to get groceries the next day, right? I had all kinds of people hugging me, and really they felt it with me because I'm from there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I think, and because hockey, and especially Oilers, is so front and center, and it's part of everybody's, and they talk about the team objectively. But really, if you talk to people that are in and around Sherwood Park, or people that grew up with or played against Stuart Skinner, I mean, I'm out there a lot. They're generally very, very proud, and they want to see him succeed. So I do think there's a lot of truth in when you have, I don't know about those money numbers. You could argue that 1,000 different ways, but what I do know is that it definitely makes the fans connect with the team even more. However many locals or even Albertans that you would have on the Oilers, it really adds a spark. And every time I'm out there, I don't go through a period in Oilers Nation without hearing about all the players that are from Edmonton, and how proud people are. Edmonton is a great hockey player. I mean, one of the most hockey-centric places in the world. Generally, they're very proud of their own. And I just think there's so much noise and criticism around every play now because of Instagram and everything's so good that you generally hear. It's like the news every night, man. You hear more negativity. There's a lot of good things happen.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of akin to that to me.
Yeah, that part would be fair, right? You throw in Matt Savoy, you throw in, because there was 3 local, it kind of was not lost me watching the player introductions, and they're like from Edmonton, Stuart Skinner, from Sherwood Park, Matt Savoy, or St. Albert, from Stony Plain, Brett Kulak, and even from Canmore, Alberta, Noah Philp. And I'm just like, geez, you know what, like that, I'm sure it does resonate for some, no question. I also think there's others, though, who are like, I don't care that he's a local boy. He's got to play better. And so, sometimes there's a tendency to want to eat your own. There's a little bit of that. Depends on who the person is. I will say in Stuart Skinner's case, he's just at the point now where like every time he has a goal, people don't like that. They're going to, because they're just waiting for it now. They're just waiting to say, ha, see, there's another bad goal, thinking like he's the only goalie in the NHL who lets in a bad goal. But it can't happen every third game, right? If it's every 8th or 9th game, that's just normal. Because I can tell you, I could show you video of Hellebuck. I could show you video of Vasilevsky. They're all going to let in a goal you don't like, right? But when it's opening night in a 3-2 game, and it's a play that's not even that difficult to make, I can understand why there's frustration. Because unfortunately, you got to make that play. Just put the puck in the corner. Like, it's very simple on what to do there. This was not a technical thing. And that's why I looked at last night. I was like, geez, I actually think Stuart Skinner's moving pretty well here. His post coverage was good. He got a cross on that one timer on the power play a few times. I'm like, hey, that's pretty good. But then there's that play. And unfortunately, then there's that play has been somewhat of a trend in his career that he has to get rid of. He just does.
Yeah, and so like I said, I couldn't see the game, but I was following along on Twitter. And if you look up until that, a lot of people were really praising his game.
Yes, no, he had played fine up until that point. I totally agree.
Yeah, exactly. So you hope, right? And there's all kinds. The other thing is, we're the furthest possible point away from when this becomes a major issue and there's a deadline or anything like that. And the Oilers are going to win. I mean, unless something absurd happens, the Oilers are going to be in a comfortable position anyway, and I just think they have time to think about it. And it's funny, after all this time, right, you're right, that inconsistency does come up a lot, but you don't know and I don't know, and we watch every single game for the most part. We're as dialed in as anybody, and if we don't know, then I'm sure the Oilers are just saying, okay, you know what, like, it started terribly. That's awful that happens. It's terrible optic, but we do have time. He's a good goalie, hopefully a great goalie. and let's see what happens. But like I said, what it really did, unfortunately, for Stu Skinner is really, really, really shorten that leash.
Yes.
You know, like now he has no room for any one of those for a long time, and for good reason, really. I mean, we all love the hometown guy, and I'm a player's guy, and I really, really, I like everything about Stuart Skinner. I really do. But it's everything. If it's a business, it's supply and demand, and it's, you know, we need a better goalie. We're going to have to get one. But I'm still going with Skinner. I got all the kinds of confidence in him. But like, if that happens even next game, then it's alarm bells. It's panic time. So hopefully it doesn't, and I got every bit of confidence that it won't.
Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan with you. Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X. Cons, did you get your 2 winners for the 4 packs of tickets?
I did, yeah.
All right. Okay, great. Who is it? Surprise?
Jesse and I forgot the second name, but they've been alerted.
Oh, okay. Well, the Jesse and no name.
And you know what? We even had a third pair from Vance, so I hooked up another person as well, Len.
Len. So Len was the bonus winner. Okay, great. We'll take a quick break. We'll return. Find out more about Jack Roslovich. What should you expect from him next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Whoa, who turned off all the lights?
Experience the new charcoal menu at Booster Juice.
Charcoal menu?
Introducing the Eclipse Smoothie, Blackout Booster Mixer, and Midnight Booster Ball.
Where's that voice coming from?
Dark and delicious, made with activated charcoal.
Can we please turn the lights back on?
Sorry, I'm just excited about the new charcoal menu.
Wow, that is good.
Right? Available now, only at Booster Juice.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 25% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until October 18th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
It's Midnight Madness at the Brick. Stores close Friday to lower prices, then reopen at 5 p.m. with incredible 7-hour deals. The first 10 customers get $50 to spend on anything in store. Score free local delivery when you spend $4.99 or more. Plus, buy any TV or appliance and get a $50 credit to spend on furniture, decor, or mattresses. And take 5 years, pay with 0 interest on your Flexity card. OAC terms and conditions apply. See in-store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Fall in the savings at Wolf GMC Buick. For a very limited time, get 0% on every 2025 Buick and GMC, including the all-new Buick Envista, the Encore, Envision, and Enclave. For the GMCs, 0% on 2025s like the Sierra Half-Ton, Sierra HD, even the Yukons. Get 0% on all 2025s. Plus, get up to 84 months on the GMC Sierra Half-Ton Crew Cab. But like the leaves, these deals won't last long. Get into Wolf GMC Buick now.
Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Edmonton Elks Campus Clash is back, presented by Innova. October 11th versus the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, featuring $18 student tickets, food and drink specials, after party at O'Byrne's Ice District, and you could win a trip to Cancun. Tickets at goelks.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers are back in action, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian and 69-cent wings, plus play, score, and win every game. See more at OnTheRocksYEG.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, buddy. Here's another classic old school tune. TR, you must love that song, don't you?
Hear it. What is it?
Oh, God. I would hope you do, buddy, because that is an absolute rocker of an old school tune. Yeah,
Which song was it?
What, you weren't listening? The Scorpions?
I couldn't hear
were
on
you
my phone. They came in late.
Were you a Scorpions fan? Yeah.
I was on stage with the Scorpions in Sears, Switzerland, in only my underwear. That's a story for the next Ryan's Rant. Rock You Like a Hurricane.
Oh, buddy, that's an unreal song. Totally.
Yeah.
Early morning, the sun comes out. Let's do it. Oh, fantastic. I was on. Hey, Tiara, what do you think? Well, here's a true story. He's on stage with no clothes on. Shocking. So, yeah, we'll look forward to that for the next show. Let's get to oh, my God. Was that in your book? I don't recall reading it in your book.
No, I probably should have been. It's worthy. You never put it in there.
Yeah, well, there you go. Well,
I will explain all this on Tuesday.
Maybe I'll have another book coming out. There you go. Good episode, Chapters I Forgot by Terry Ryan. Now, let's go around the NHL. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Around the NHL is always brought to you by McDonald's. It's back. Your favorite game, McDonald's. And the Monopoly Double Play is back. You can peel on the pack and then peel in the app for an extra chance to win. Get ready to peel like a winner. Only at McDonald's until November 28th. Actually, it's not a bad line. Peel like a winner. Well, the Oilers, were they a winner? It's interesting. Not every year, but every few years, there seems to be a player that a lot of people think is going to get a little bit more. Maybe him and his agent think they're going to a little bit more. And then all of a sudden, the spots on the train, they fill up. And you're looking around and you're like, what? I don't have any place to sit. And this year, that was Jack Roslovic, who had a very good season last year for the Carolina Hurricanes. 19 5-on-5 goals, which led this team. He had 34 points, 5-on-5, led the team. Was tied with Sebastian Aho in even strength goals at 21, second in points behind Aho at even strength. And you're thinking, hey, lots of teams would be interested. And there were teams interested, but sounds like the asking price, or sometimes you get advice, the agent's like, you know what? Yeah, we're going to get more. And it doesn't always work. And he's not the first one. I can tell. Well, I told you the Vinny Desharnais story. I know that they turned down a 4-year deal at $2 million a year from Edmonton because their agent at the time thought they'd get more. Didn't get more, got a shorter term. So it happens. Corey Laviolette, beat reporter for the Hurricanes, joins us. Corey, thanks for coming back on the show. Give me your thoughts on Jack Roslovic and what he did best last year for the Hurricanes.
Hey, Jason, thanks for having me. Yeah, first off, I'm fully clothed. You'll be happy to know. So
okay, good.
You don't have to worry about that. Yeah, he actually got off to a really, really good start. He finished pretty much all of his chances in the first, few weeks of the season. And really, people got pretty enamored with him. And then it just kind of fell off from there. He wasn't very effective, I would say, after that. And he can be a little bit of a frustrating player, in my opinion, to watch because unless he's scoring, it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot there. It's not that he's, loafing it around the ice and things like that, but, especially a system like Rod Brindamore's where, he wants players in on the forecheck and in hard. And, to me, it left me wanting a little bit most of the time. But I mean, when you play with guys, like he's going to like Connor and like Leon Draisaitl, if you can finish your chances, you're going to, have an opportunity to do things. And that's something that he can do if he's rolling the right way. So, he's a guy who can finish. And that's basically how he had the season he had last year.
Okay. Who did he play? Like when he was scoring early on in the year, was he playing with Aho and the top guys?
Yeah. So he started the season with Aho and Jarvis and eventually moved down the lineup a bit. And then he's not the kind of guy who creates a whole lot on his own, I would say.
Right.
So, I mean, if you want to give him that ice time to play, 18 minutes a night or 15 minutes a night at even strength or whatever, you can do that. And he's capable of finishing. I would say the knock is can he create opportunities on his own? And I didn't see a whole lot of that.
TR?
Corey, wondering, I hear Sebastian Aho, Jarvis, and Ehlers are playing together. I could be wrong, but if this is true, how did they look in camp, and were you impressed?
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's going to be a work in progress, I would say. It's not the biggest line in the world. I think we can all agree on that. Anytime I've mentioned that to Rod Brindamore. He kind of points to Tampa Bay and he says, hey, Braden Point, Nikita Kucherov, and Jake Gensel aren't exactly trees out there. They only played 2 preseason games, so there has, you don't see a lot in those games, especially, you're kind of playing weird disjointed minutes against, maybe guys who are beneath playing against, but it seemed like it started to click a little better as the camp wore on and as you started to see more. But, tonight's really the first test, right? You got to see how everyone fits together and they'll have to build toward it, I think. But certainly, I don't think the Hurricanes have had anybody who can skate like Ehlers other than Natchez for a while. He's a fantastic skater, and I think he's a deceptive skater too. So he has that ability to come up the wing and surprise defensemen, I think, sometimes with how quick he can kind of turn a corner and get to the net.
I noticed not every fourth line in the league has a couple of top 5 picks on it. And again, I'm assuming, but everything I've seen in camp, I've seen Taylor Hall play with Kotkaniemi and Robinson on line 4. Now, do you think depth would be, and are they deeper this year? I mean, doesn't mean they're playing well, but I noticed that, and it seems that, I mean, the Hurricanes have always been known for their depth, but what do you think this year? Are they deeper than they finished last year?
Yeah, I think so for sure. I think, the big thing is, even before the Ehlers signing, they were loaded at the wings, right? You've got Jarvis, you've got Blake, you've got Stankoven, you got Svechnikov, and, you got Taylor Hall. You look at all these guys on the wings they have, and you're like, man, where do you fit them all? Well, the solution was they're going to try Logan Stankoven in the middle. But there's still, a huge glut of forwards. So that fourth line does not look like a fourth line, right? I mean, I don't think anybody's, head over heels with how the Jesperi Kotkaniemi signing has worked. At the same time, I don't think, he's been bad or anything. It's just, when you trade for a guy, you hope maybe he becomes your second line center, and he doesn't. There's really nowhere else for him to go here, right? Jordan Staal is going to be your third line center as long as he wants to be. I mean, that line will, with Jordan Martinook and William Carrier are going to grind down other teams' top lines, night after night after night. So because of that, you end up with this fourth line that's, pretty stacked, right? Robinson had a good year last year, a career year. They re-signed him. Taylor Hall comes over, he re-signs. So, I think I'll be interested to see how that progresses throughout the year, because if you're Taylor Hall, you're a former Hart Trophy winner, you're former first overall pick. How do you handle, maybe only playing 10 minutes a night? He will be on the second power play unit still, so he'll get that time. And but you'd also figure maybe he's at that point in his career where it's all about winning, right? Do whatever's best for the team. And, injuries will happen. Things will get changed up. He did spend a little bit of time with Blake and Stankoven on that second line. But I think that's Svechnikov's spot for the most part. So we'll see how that hashes out.
When you look at this Hurricane, they really revamped their defense, right? Burns is out, Orlov's out. They bring in Keandre Miller. That's a pretty big addition. Now, Young Morrow went out with that. How was the defense? How much of a factor were Burns and Orlov, do you think, in their struggles in the round, or is that an easy out to just blame them?
No, I mean, I don't think that either of that. I think Orlov had a tough time in the playoffs a little bit. Brent Burns is 40 years old, so he's not going to be the player he was 10 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever. But this was the second straight year they'd done this, right? They lost Pesce and Shea the year before that. They were able to replace those guys with Gostisbehere and Walker. Now Walker's going to start the season playing with Jacob Slavin. Obviously, Keandre Miller, they think, is reminiscent of how they got Brady Shea, right? Brady Shea kind of fell out of favor in New York. The Hurricanes traded for him, and, Brady Shea was fantastic here. And I think that's what they're hoping, they get out of Keandre Miller. So you get a lot younger on the back end. And then, of course, Alexander Nikishin's the big, X factor there. If he can be as good as they think he can be, there's still, some language issues, I guess I could say, about not so much, in a everyday flow of things, but I think, in-game adjustments and things like that are going to be tough because, he speaks some English, but not a ton of English. So they're going to have to figure that out. But just tons and tons of talent. And can he bring something that maybe that defense hasn't had, which he can really hit? He can be a little bit, a little mean back there. So curious to see how he fits in.
Corey Laviolette joins us talking Carolina Hurricanes. We spoke about Jack Roslovich earlier. Feels that, he was best when he was playing with Aho and Jarvis to start the season. Then it kind of, as the season went on, it eroded a little bit. But, he's more of a complimentary winger, which is fine. That's the vast majority of the NHL complimentary wingers. And I noticed he took some faceoffs. But he played mainly wing, did he not, last year?
Yeah, he centered the fourth line a little bit there too. So, he was kind of bounced around a bit. He did, saw a little bit of time farther up the lineup in the middle. But for the most part, they used him on the wing. So, he's got that ability though, and you can never have enough right-handed face-off guys, right? That's something that this team, has been looking for desperately. And, they're going to try Stankoven there. We'll see how that works. But, that's something Roslovic could do, but they didn't use him there a whole lot. So, I think he did okay. I think he was around 53% on faceoffs last year. So, there's an option there to move him around a bit. I think he has that, that versatility where you can play him in the middle if you need to. But to me, the Oilers already have so many guys down the middle. They can barely find time for those guys in the middle.
No, I think Roslovich is definitely going to be coming here as a winger. I could see him, and I wouldn't be shocked for them to say, you know what, we'll give him a try with McDavid and Draisaitl until Hyman comes back. And see how it goes. All right, Trent Frederick. Trent Frederick can always move in a different spot. I could easily see that for them. The Hurricanes themselves. Now I watched the preseason, Corey, and I watched Florida and Tampa, two teams who have won 4 of the last 6 Stanley Cups. And one of their players gets hit, they're going crazy. There's fights all over the place. Svechnikov gets lit up against Nashville, and there's not much. Is that a concern? Like when I just look at Carolina plays incredibly disciplined to their system all the time. They're relentless. They forecheck. They're on you. Do they need more of a "we will fight you if we have to" match Florida and Tampa Bay's attitude? Because those two teams have arguably maybe more top end skill and they play well, but that's the one element that they seem to have more of than Carolina.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people mention this, and the tough situation there is it's 3-on-3. So you've got 3 guys on the ice. One of them's laying on the ice. Aho actually does go after him, and he gets the penalty that leads to the overtime goal. So, he doesn't go after him and drop the gloves, but he went up to him and grabbed him. And I think there is something to that you want to see a little more, of that stick up for your guy thing. They did sign Giovanni Smith. He's down in the AHL, but he did that in the preseason, had a couple fights, stood up for one of the teammates after one of them. So that's an option they can go to if they feel like they need it. They can bring him up. So that's a fourth line option that gives you a little more jam, I'd say. But yeah, it's not really in their DNA, I would say. It's not, and even Rod Brind'Amour was a gritty player, right? But he was not a fighter and things like that. And Rod doesn't really love, the whole, fighting for fighting's sake kind of stuff. And, he called that little outing there entertaining, was the way he put it, between Tampa and Florida. So, so, I think there's always something to that, right? You want to see guys stick up for each other and things like that. And we'll see where the league goes with this. Everyone wants to be like the Stanley Cup champions are, and that's what Florida is. So everyone tries to, change a little bit, get bigger on defense, get tougher, be more physical, have somebody who's going to be more willing to fight, things like that. So, that's not really how they're built. So we'll see. They're not, very big up front, to be honest. Svechnikov's a big kid, but beyond that, we talked about that top line. They're small. Jackson Blake and Stankoven, they're both small. So not really big, but they got bigger, I think, on defense, at least bigger and more mobile. Kendra Miller's a big guy, and I mentioned Nikishin. So, I think that, it's something to think about. I think if they start getting pushed around, then I think, you start to worry about it. The way it's been the last few years, I don't feel like they weren't really pushed around by Florida too much.
Right.
They just got flat out beat, I think.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That is totally fair. Lastly, of course, every year there's the question, is Kochetkov going to be the number 1 this year? They're going to limit Anderson. What do you think is going to happen in goal?
He's hurt. So he's
oh my God. Already?
Kochetkov is, played the last preseason game and then has missed the last couple practices, and he's not even going to be dressed tonight. So they kind of, you feel bad for the front office, because I think they kind of did the right thing this offseason. They got caught in a little bit of a pickle last year with not really having a solid number 3 to be able to bring up. So they went and they signed Caden Primo, and then they went and got Amir Niftikov, who's been really good in the KHL. So you feel like you've got 4 guys that you can count on, and then Primo gets claimed by Toronto. Niftikov doesn't have a good camp, in my opinion. So now Brandon Bussey is your backup tonight. So, Frederick Anderson will start, and, Brendan Moore said the ideal situation is a 50-50 split between Anderson and Kochetkov, and to start the season this way is definitely not ideal, especially with a big road trip coming up after 2 games at home.
Yeah, they don't want to overplay Freddie Anderson. Any idea how long Kochetkov's going to be out?
He's going to get looked at tomorrow, so I guess we'll find out more maybe tomorrow or the day after. But hasn't been on the ice the last couple of days. At least we haven't seen him out there, so they've got to figure that out. But that's a tough one because he's got a lot of talent. His big thing is he needs to stay healthy, and then kind of losing the ebbs and flows in his game and being a little more consistent. But tons of talent there, and a totally opposite kind of goalie from Frederick Anderson, right? Freddie's even as can be, calm, steady, and Kochetkov's a little more erratic and, can do things that maybe Freddie can't. His poke checks are loved around here, I would say. But we'll see what happens with that. I'm certainly sure they're hoping for the, hoping that things aren't as bad as they could be. So we'll see what happens with that.
Awesome stuff, Corey. Really appreciate the rundown, man. Thanks. Enjoy the season. We'll talk to you again soon.
Anytime, guys.
Corey Lavallée. That is crazy, TR. The season hasn't even started. They've already got injuries in goal. Like every year, that seems to be a factor in Carolina. Every year. It's wild.
Yeah. And so unfortunate, needless to say, but, the goalie, it's like so important that you get off to that good start, like at least between the pipes, and it's such a big part. It's one thing to deal with here and there, but it seems like that happens a lot in Carolina.
Yeah, it's a weird thing for
sure. Happens a lot in Toronto.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Well, injured goalies, man, it happens more than people think. The guys who are able to stay healthy all the time, that's something that probably gets overlooked as a skill for goaltenders for sure. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We've got 5 questions. Gregor, Ryan, Halley. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game. Of course, it's Thursday, the Daily Grand. Your chance, get $1,000 a day for 20 years. That's $7.3 million. Get your tickets. PlayAlberta.ca.
Sure, your couch is comfortable, but watching the game is always better and on the rocks. With crystal clear TVs, you won't miss a single play, and the specials are a major league win. Pre-game warm-up starts with specials 30 minutes before the puck drops. Get 69-cent wings and $5.75 Molson Canadian and Coors Light drafts, and play score and win every game for your chance to win big. Be part of the action this hockey season. See the menu online at ontherocks.yeg.com.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
Edmonton's go-to station for all things sports is Sports 1440.
From Low Tide to Kevin Carriott and Jason Gregor, we deliver the latest on your favorite teams.
Tune in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week
to Sports 1440.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is sounding the call. Don't struggle through winter with a furnace you can't trust. For maintenance before winter strikes, call Legacy. Call Legacy. For furnace tune-ups and repairs to give peace of mind. Or to scrap your old furnace for a brand new high-efficiency one. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your new furnace, it's got to be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. I'm super excited to tell you today that we have fed over 250 families so far with our Feed 500 Families event. With that said, we are still short of our goal. We have decided to continue this on through to the end of October. With your help and your support, we can get this done. Please stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
Planning your next event? Let Loca Quality Market cater. From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit loca.ca to start planning today.
Looking at the Alberta weather forecast, wild, unpredictable, brutally tough.
When the weather turns tough, Titan Supply doesn't back down. Titan Supply has been protecting workers from conditions like this for 50 years. We stand tall with you against the elements with the industry's best rigging, hauling, and lifting products to get you home safe. Tire chains, wire rope, round slings, chain slings, and a whole lot more. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary. Online at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantor. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantor's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantor.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
450, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan, Connor Halley. I'll say this. After that interview with Corey Lavalette and reading a few texts, because I reached out to some scouts on Jack Roslovich, I'm coming away at the conclusion he's best suited to try and to help you produce in your top six. Not necessarily, unless you got a really strong third line center. I'm not sure you're going to get a ton of offense from him in the bottom six, but in the top six, everybody says he can play with skill. So don't be surprised if you see him maybe get on that top line with McDavid and Draisaitl sooner than later. We'll see. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. So tomorrow, The Brick is closing down during the day. And then at 5 o'clock, they open up for 7 hours of madness, midnight madness, where you can get great savings, 50% off mattresses. First people in the store, 10 people in each store, you're getting $50 GCs to use and more. So goes tomorrow night at The Brick from 5 until midnight.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys, question number 1 for you today. What was the biggest takeaway, good or bad, in the Oilers' loss to the Flames last night?
The biggest takeaways, I'm not going to say the Skinner thing. Let's get off for a little bit. Support him. Well, I didn't see the whole game. I just saw the highlights. But I thought Tomasek played pretty well from what I read, from what I watched. I thought other than a few blunders, it seemed that the power play seemed to be clicking. But other than that, I can't really take much more. That's all I really saw.
I guess my takeaway would be that there's still a lot of time to learn. The Oilers were up 3-0. They completely took their foot off the gas. And then they just made some big mental mistakes, not just the goalie, a few other ones that led to getting Calgary back in the game. And I know it's game 1, so you got 81 games. So you'd rather do that now than do it in the playoffs because you have runway to learn. That's just the truth. But it's like a mistake in the first period can hurt you, but you have lots of time to make up for it. A big mistake in the third period, you have less time. So timing of the mistakes definitely is something that needs to be a tad crisper.
Question number 2. Who would you rather see the Jays play and why? Mariners or Tigers?
I'm going to say, I'm going to say the Tigers now because their best pitcher won't get to play until game 3. So that's why I will take the Tigers. DR?
Sorry, what was the question again?
Just between the Mariners and the Tigers, who would you rather see the Jays play and why?
Sorry about that. I'm in a parking lot. There's an alarm going off. I couldn't hear. So who would I rather? I'd rather the Tigers for that reason, because their best pitcher, who's an ace, and you could argue is the best pitcher in the series, is only going to be able to get in, not going to be able to get in until a few games into the series, whereas normally he would start. The Jays are going to be rested. And you've got with Seattle, I think you got 3 aces. I think they're a little bit deeper, but two fantastic teams. I just think if it's me, I'm not even thinking about it. I'm rolling. It doesn't matter. We just beat the New York Yankees. We're the Jays. They're going to have to worry about us. But like I said, if I'm having to pick, I'd pick the Tigers.
Question number 3. Dodgers and Brewers can wrap up their series today. Right now, heading into the 4th, Dodgers and Phillies are scoreless. Of those two teams, does either, both, or neither wrap it up today?
Go ahead, TR.
Sorry. Yeah. No, you're up. Sorry.
No, I would. You know what? I want one of them's. I think there's going to be one Game 5, and I will say I think the Dodgers win at home, but so do the Cubbies. So Milwaukee will have to win at home in Game 5.
Yeah, I think the Dodgers are going to win at home there. I'm very confident in that. I've bet on it, so I'm going to lock in my pick.
Question number 4, Thursday Night Football, Giants, Eagles from MetLife. The Eagles coming in as 8-point favorites. What's your pick here and any other prop bet you would make at playalberta.ca?
There's a lot of injuries in this one. And with the research that I've done, because I really have the research that I don't know football as well as you guys, so I have to rely on experts. And for a lot of reasons, the Giants defense, the last couple scores between the teams, so many injuries, I would pick the under on the total score. I think it's like 42-5 or something. I would take the under. And I think Barkley, he wasn't going to play. I think now he is going to play. So I think he's going to have a big game. There's a few reasons for him to be motivated. And if he's playing, he's got the jersey on, he's going to be out there and he's going to be going all out. So I would take him on the over when it comes to the rush yards.
I kind of agree with you on the under, although Jalen Carter, they just announced Cons. I think he's out for the Eagles as well. So there's lots of injuries in the game. The last week's got me now wondering, like, what's going to happen here? Are we going to have another completely shocking upset? But it's the Eagles and it's the Giants, so I don't see it. But I'm going to say the Giants cover. Cons. I know that's odd to say, but I'm going to go with the Giants covering. They'll lose, but they'll cover.
Yeah, they get Tracy back in the lineup, but no Slayton. They're already down Malik Neighbors, so that'll be tough. Final question for you guys. On this day in 1992, Under Siege debuted with Steven Seagal. So when it comes to your go-to movies, I'm talking action and movies you just turn your brain off and enjoy. What comes to mind?
Well, I want to go first, TR, because to me, it's a no-brainer. You put the Bourne on, I don't care if it's the Supremacy, the Identity, I don't care which one. I will watch Bourne all day long. I love it. It doesn't matter where. If I'm switching channels and Bourne's on, I'm watching it. I absolutely love it all day, every day. It's my best action movies for sure.
For me, I love the Mission Impossible movies. I like the James Bond movies. And if you're going to go with one standalone, I'm going way back, but I'm just going to try to, because a lot of people listen to this and, they're probably going to, they've seen Indiana Jones and Star Wars and all those, which would be some of my favorites. But I just watched a movie from the 70s with Steve McQueen called Bullet. And
yeah.
I absolutely loved it. I'd heard about it, and I'd heard he was into cars, and there's some great chases. This thing stands up still, and it's not talked about much, so there you go. There's my outside
Bullet.
pick.
Ooh, all right. I like it. A little outside the box. Cons, what about you? What's your go-to?
A couple for me, because I always think, like, I love those movies. You put them on, you put your phone down, and then the movie just flies by. You're like, oh, was that an hour movie? No, 2 hours. You don't even think about it. You're just loving it. So John Wick, essentially any of the John Wick movies. The Equalizer with Denzel was another one. It was just unbelievable. And then one that maybe a little under the radar, I don't know, Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot to take in. There's a lot going on, but that movie also flew by for me. So throw that one in there too.
And TR, I don't know if you know this, but Cons, he basically ranks his movie on duration. That's a key for him, is the time that he has to commit to watching. The shorter, the better. So it doesn't surprise me that Con Man is all over any of his shorter movie. I'm in.
It's true.
It's true. It's very true.
But then I'll watch, Game of Thrones 2-hour episodes, whatever. It's weird that way.
Well, I guess if it goes by fast for you, right?
Oh yeah.
I guess that's what you're getting at. So it's time. There are movies that go slow that I love. Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right, and it is slow, but it's a great movie, and I like to take those and really, like, once in a while, I will really got to be in the mood, but I will throw one of those on, those classics to update. Schindler's List is another one. I know what's going to happen. But when you watch it start to finish, there's something to be said. Other ones, there you go. Tombstone is like a half hour. I throw that one on here and there. Movie Tombstone, it to me is. I'm interested in history. I like the action, and I like the stories. I thought the movie was made great, and the acting's awesome. So that goes quick for me.
TR, have yourself a great weekend. And we got the Jays on Sunday and Monday. Next time we talk, the Jays could be up 2-0. We'll see what happens. And the Oilers will have played a game. We'll see if they can get a little bit closer, a little bit more disciplined. And we didn't even talk about it, but I was not enamored by their 5-on-5 production last night. They had the Mangiapane goal. I don't think they created much. After that, I think they're, including the top line, they got to do better 5-on-5 against the Canucks on Saturday.
Well, we'll have more to talk about, plus the Scorpions underwear story in just a few days right here on Sports 1440, the Jason Gregor Show.
Awesome, buddy. We look forward to it.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Edmonton. We'll chat soon.
Coming up, Mark Spector will be by. After 5 o'clock, we got more on the Oilers. Some news. Connor Halley will update you. Another roster move for the Edmonton Oilers, and they might have officially. I don't know when they did it, but they probably have officially filed the contract now for Jack Roslovic, and he will be on the ice tomorrow. Will he be on the ice in the top line? We shall see. Let's get to the Conman and a Sports 1440 update. Brought to you by Fountain Tire. They got you covered right now. 0% financing for 6 months or easy equal payments up to a year, both no interest. Road ready should also mean wallet ready at fountaintire.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Edmonton Oilers make a little roster move as the team has placed defenseman Jake Wallman on the IR with that designation. He'd missed up to a week. 14 games on the ice tonight, including the Canadiens. In Detroit, you got the Lightning hosting the Sens, Flames out in Vancouver, Flyers meet the Panthers, and the Blues taking on the Minnesota Wild. Major League Baseball, NLDS Game 4, Phillies and Dodgers scoreless in the top of the fourth. LA can advance on with a win. And then later on tonight, you got the Cubbies and the Brewers meeting in Chicago. Brewers lead that series 2-1 in the NFL. Week 6 kicks off this evening out in East Rutherford, Jersey, with the Giants hosting the Eagles. That one's set to get going at 6:15. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Rogers Sportsnet's Mark Spector and quarterback for the Edmonton Elks, Cody Fajardo. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
At Fountain Tire, we're fluent in saving you money.
Fluent?
Yes, we've mastered the language of deals. Like right now, you can save up to 25% off select tires and up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires. Plus, $50 off $150 service when you buy those tires. All until October 18th.
I'm sorry, I don't speak deals.
Spend less, save more when you buy Round Black things from us.
Oh, got it.
Restrictions apply. Book your appointment online today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
It's Midnight Madness at the Brick. Stores close Friday to lower prices, then reopen at 5 p.m. with incredible 7-hour deals. The first 10 customers get $50 to spend on anything in store. Score free local delivery when you spend $4.99 or more. Plus, buy any TV or appliance, get a $50 credit to spend on furniture, decor, or mattresses. And take 5 years to pay with 0 interest on your Flexity card OAC. Terms and conditions apply. See in-store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Monopoly Double Play is back at McDonald's. So let's practice winning. You just won 25 grand. And go.
Yes!
I said 25 grand.
That's what I'm talking about! Yeah!
Much better. Okay, now you just won a brand new Chevrolet Corvette. I think you just fainted. Impressive. Feel like a winner. On pack and in-app. Monopoly Double Play is back. While supplies last, 1 in 5 chances to win game piece prizes at outset. Chances to win draw prizes depend on number of entries in each draw. Cash prizes payable by e-transfer. See rules in-app.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
Think your credit's not good enough for a new ride? Think again. Go Auto's car loan calculator is here to help. No commitments, no credit hits, just real answers. You tell us a few things, and we'll show you what you can afford. Text credit to 780-777-7777. That's credit to 780 all sevens. Go Auto. We do the math, so you can do the driving.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Enjoy a taste of Hawaii with the Papa John's Aloha Trio. Try the classic Hawaiian, Super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken. Pizzas for only $19.99 each at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock. It's the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. We got a big announcement coming tomorrow on the station. I like it. A big announcement, but one that you'll actually be able to see. That's my hint. So it'll start in the morning show and run through all the afternoon, different times, and it's going to be fun. I think it's a perfect time to launch right for the season. So that will be coming up tomorrow here on Sports 1440. Looking forward to it. Welcome back to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Thursday, the Daily Grand. Get your tickets, PlayAlberta.ca. $1,000 a day for 20 years. Pretty darn good. That's $7.3 million. Now you can get a lump sum. It's kind of boring, but do it every day. You just wake up, even if you're in a bad mood. What happened? So I got a note on my phone. $1,000. Hello. Perfect. Check it out at PlayAlberta.ca. And so, we look forward to that partnership announcement tomorrow on the show. Be fun. Let's get to the spec report now, brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists. They specialize not only in all that, but also being a fantastic company. They just moved into a new location, so congratulations to them. Opportunity to service you even better. GS Construction, as Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us now. Spec, how you doing? It was a big celebration for many people yesterday as the Toronto Blue Jays punched their ticket to the ALCS with one of the best performances when we think of a bullpen start than you can imagine. 8 different pitchers. They only gave up 2 runs, got lots of timely outs, and now they move on.
It's funny how the manager Schneider went from being the biggest dummy in the world in game 3 to looking real smart after game 4. Like, I'll tell you what, this guy, Toronto wasn't even supposed to make the playoffs this year. He manages them to the best record in the American League. they're beating the Yankees, and all of a sudden he pulls Bieber in whatever that inning was, third inning, I think.
Yeah.
And he's an idiot. Like, oh my goodness. Anyway, the bullpen was outstanding. They got clutch hits from guys down the lineup. Ernie Clement, Lucas. They're doing what good teams do, man. They're getting it from this. Tonight it was their bullpen and the guys down the lineup. Tomorrow it's their starter, and it's, Guerrero. The next night it's two other guys. I mean, it's coming from everywhere right now for the Blue Jays.
Oh, yeah, it is. And hey, how about Ernie Clement, Spec? Unreal performance by him.
Yeah, not enough heroic Ernies in our sporting world right now. So this guy's coming in right on cue. We need a good Ernie going on.
No, he played, but he just came up with clutch hit after clutch hit, at key times, whether it was to start a rally, extend a rally. And I just thought, he was very good defensively as well. It was a big win for the Jays. And now your Cubbies got to win, so they're still alive.
Yep.
Taking on Milwaukee. Now it's the later game tonight, and we have the game going on right now between the no score actually in the fourth inning between the Dodgers and Philadelphia. But tomorrow we do have a game 5 for sure. Detroit, Seattle. You look at that. Detroit's going with their ace, and if they win, then their ace won't play in games 1 and 2 for the Jays. Like that's kind of the other advantage, right? Sometimes gets overlooked. You finish a series sooner, that allows you more rest. They didn't have to go to Gosman. They didn't have to go to Trey Savage, so they know who their number game 1 and 2 starters are going to be already.
Yeah, that's huge advantage. You don't see Skubal till at least game 3.
Yeah,
and you get your best starters in game 1 and game 2. That at home, that's huge, and that's if you get Detroit. And you got to hope for. I mean, you probably, if you're the Jays, you're open for Detroit because of what we just talked about, and the fact you don't probably feel like flying 3 time zones. You'd probably rather just truck back and forth to Detroit. It's a quick little flight. It would be fun if it's Seattle, because we all know that, the people in Vancouver, they're kind of split. Lots of Jays fans, lots of Seattle fans out there, right? So it would be a fun dynamic, Blue Jays Seattle, but whatever it is, the Blue Jays, to my eye, the Blue Jays are going to be favored in the ALCS. You can beat the Yankees. You can beat anybody in the AL. So why not win that series and go to the World Series, huh?
Hey, Spec, did you notice? Very quiet in Toronto, because had they lost to the Yankees, the format's terrible. They had the 2 most wins. They shouldn't be playing each other, right? It's a preset thing. One plays 4 and 5 automatically. And I'm like, no one ever complains about it when it works or when your team wins, right? You got to play good teams anyway. So beat the damn good teams. I hate when that's why I got to go 1 versus 8, best on best. I'm like, no, it isn't. It's not always that way.
You hear
you
hockey every year.
You switch up. 3 versus 6 and 4 versus 5 is basically the same as 2 versus 3 right now, 95% of the time.
Everybody wants change. It's about to be daylight savings, and a bunch of people are going to bleed about that too, Jay. So get ready.
Let's be honest. I get why it was made back in the Industrial Revolution, Spec, but we have what's called streetlights now. So I don't really think it's necessary like it used to be. Just saying. I don't think there's a real benefit to do it. Now, the Edmonton Oilers, man, they had their lights on for the first 30 minutes of that game, Spec, and then there was a power outage in the brain for quite a few guys. Obviously, Stu Skinner was one. We'll get to it, but I thought the Oilers, they went from controlling that game to Slotville rather quickly.
Yeah, very immature, inexperienced effort by the Oilers. Like, they're supposed to be past this, right? These guys have played so many big games in the last 5 years. I mean, holy cow. Really? You get up 3-0 and you start mailing in your effort? Like, come on. They look like a team that's never played an important hockey game before. There's just no excuse. Everybody said it. Knobloch said it. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins said it. They just got sloppy. They got up 3-0 and they started playing like the game was in the bag and it was going to be points night or whatever it was going to be. But it was absolutely the opposite of a 60-minute effort. It was the kind of a game a team plays that doesn't know how to win. And the Oilers know how to win. They've been to 2 cups in a row. Yeah. So absolutely wasteful and immature, and it looked like a team that hasn't made the playoffs in 8 years. Didn't love it at all.
Their 5-on-5 play, Mangiapane had a great goal. But other than that, they didn't really, even when they were leading, they didn't generate a ton. Like other than the first 10 minutes, the Philp line was very good, Kapanen and Podkolzin, and they had a few chances. They just couldn't, they get close and then they couldn't get that final pass or anything to make it. But I actually liked them, especially in the first period. But they're over 5-on-5 play didn't generate a ton of offense. Even the big dogs didn't do a whole bunch 5-on-5.
Not really, no. And I mean, okay, it's the first game of the year.
Yeah.
I'm not that worried about it.
No.
The recipe for Edmonton on a lot of nights is your power play gives you a lead, and then you just strangle the other team, and you wait for them to have to start to take chances to catch up to you. And that's maybe where you get some 5-on-5 chances and some 5-on-5 scoring. Like, I don't care where the goals come from. If the power play scores a couple and you're up 2-0, you get one, it's 3-zip. You should be able to say, okay, let's just make Calgary start to have to gamble. Let's make it really hard for them to score. They're going to take chances. We're going to turn 3-0, 3-1 into 4-1, 5-1. But they didn't. They didn't. And that's the disappointing thing for the Oilers. The recipe was there for 30 minutes, but it wasn't there for the last 30, Jay.
I'd go back to Skinner in game on Saturday against Vancouver. What about you?
Yep. The only goal that he let in you didn't like was just a total brain fart goal that you just, I mean, I don't love it. I thought to myself last night as we stood in front of Stu Skinner's stall, and I will say Stu is a stand-up cat. Like
I'll say this, Breck, you're right. He shows up, and there's other guys that magically can hide in the background. I'll say about Stu Skinner. He doesn't win, and he comes out, guess what? That was a bad play, and it looks really bad. Right. And he doesn't sugarcoat it, where I got a lot of other guys who are like, oh, they're in the media, or they're in the talking to the doctor now. Like, I'll
they're
say
in the trainer's room. He can't come out. Yeah. No. Stu's a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
That's why we like him. Like, that's why all you listeners out there, a lot of you guys can't stand Stu Skinner. One of the things us media guys like about him is exactly that. He's a stand-up guy. He'll come out and explain to you how a bad goal went in. Try standing in front of Eddie Belfour, Jonathan Quick, numerous guys, and ask them, how'd that bleeder go in? They look at you like they want to punch you in the head. So Skinner's, I give him credit, but I also think, Jason, we've got too much experience standing in front of Stu Skinner, asking him why some goofy, lousy goal went in that cost his team a game. We've done that an awful lot in front of Stu Skinner's stall. To his credit, he comes out and does it too. But maybe it shouldn't happen so often. What do you think about that?
No, I totally agree. And because it was such an innocuous play that it's a dump in, and it bounces a bit, and then I know him and Bouchard, but it's like, just put it in the corner, right? Like, just put it in the corner. It was like the his controller froze, glitched for a second, and boom, and then Coleman comes in and just taps it home. And I agree with Skinner when he said it's an easy fix. I just put the puck in the corner, right? Like, it's not like, oh my God, Stuart Skinner couldn't get across the crease again to make a save. That would be different. He actually did get across the crease I actually thought he moved pretty well last night, especially in the third period and into overtime, made some big stops. All those parts are good, but I think it's fair to say, especially, there's a little bit more spotlight on him. It's like, hey, if that happens in game 36, and the first 24 starts of his were sound, you don't even think about it, right? You probably chuckle about it like, yeah, that's not going to happen. But it's game one. And that, to me, is one where it's like, that's why I got to go back to him. But I'm going to say, like, you got to show it, because you're right. The rest of his game was pretty solid, but you just can't have that type of glitch in the game.
Yeah, I thought Terry Ryan put it best earlier in the show. He said, Stu Skinner's just running out of runway here, right? And he is. He's running out of runway to show that he can be a 906 goalie, a consistent goalie. This program is ready to win a Stanley Cup today. It can't wait around tapping its foot for Stu Skinner to give it Stanley Cup level goaltending. And, I know he's got him to 2 cups. I've been on here defending him lots, but they also got to 2 cups and had the second best goalie in both series. So listen, the ball's in his court. The job's his. He's going to get 50 starts this year, and he is going to have every chance to prove that he's the guy. And his performance will rule the day. If by the trade deadline his performance has Stan Bowman in the trade in the goalie market, There is no one to look at except for Stu Skinner. He has every opportunity to control the narrative, control holding his job. He could be the goalie here for the next 10 years if he wants to be, right? If his game is commensurate to hiring him and signing him and all those things. So it's totally up to him. So let's see what happens. Last night was a crappy start. I don't think anyone would disagree with that.
Mark Spector joins us here, Sports 1440. Spec, we had Corey Lavalette on. I've actually exchanged some texts from a few different scouts. And, he said, hey, Jack Roslovic, the guy, if you playing with offensive players, when he had his most success, he was playing with Aho and Jarvis in Carolina. And then as the season went along, it kind of waned. And then he was down in the bottom six and didn't do a whole bunch. He's like 95% of wingers. He's a complimentary winger. He's not a guy who's going to carry the line, which is totally fine. Yep. So if you're Chris Knobloch, you throw Roslovic right up there with McDavid and Draisaitl?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Like this, let's start with this. The guy he would replace would be Trent Frederick.
Yeah.
And we had this conversation, I think, when they put Frederick on that line with 2 or 3 games left in camp. Frederick's never been a top line player, right? He's not a top line player. He's 27, pushing 28 years old. He is not a first line player in the National Hockey League. He has never been a first line player in the National Hockey League. And the Oilers thought, let's see if he can be one with Draisaitl and McDavid. It's probably not fair to give him one game. Right. He got one game. That's not fair. Did he look like he belonged with him last night? He did not look like he belonged with him last night, right? Frederick did not look like a first-line player that should be trading pucks with Draisaitl and McDavid last night. If you think because he's signed for a long time and he's part of this team and you owe him a chance to get a couple more games, that's fair. But I'm here to tell you that unless something changes drastically, Frederick's never been that guy in his career. He's, like I say, he's an 8-year NHLer now, 7-year NHLer. He's never been that guy. So I don't know why you think he's going to be that guy. Jack Roslovic is far more suited to be that guy. Far more suited to be that guy than Trent Frederick. Absolutely 100% for sure.
Yeah. Well, you try him there and you kind of see where it comes. You slide Frederick down. So that's my question, Spec. I think Roslovic is going to get in the lineup regardless on Saturday, right? Chris Knobloch basically said that. He said, hey, like Sand Bowman, the guy's been skating. Like, it's not like you have a ton of practice time. When's he going to get in shape? So you might as well just throw him in the game, right? Now, maybe you limit his minutes. We'll see. So out the 12 forwards, I know they moved Wallman to IR, so that frees up the roster spot to bring in Roslovic, and they've got the cap space to do it because Hyman's on LTIR.
Who's coming out?
Yes. So which of the 12 forwards do you think is coming out of the lineup?
Oh boy. That's a good question. It's so difficult to have these guys play one game and then say, okay, let's make a bunch of judgments on how everybody played in the first game of the season.
No.
It's just not fair. I'm going this way. It's not going to be Draisaitl, McDavid. Frederick doesn't deserve to come out. It's not going to be Mangiapane, Nugent Hopkins. It shouldn't be Savoy, in my opinion. It's not going to be Podkolzin or Kapanen. Maybe Kapanen. It's not going to be Philp. He had a nice game. It's not going to be Henrique. Tomasic was pretty good. I'm down to Kapanen or Howard. I'm down to Kapanen or Howard.
Actually, I like Kapanen's game last night.
I didn't mind his game one bit. That's who I'm down to.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. So if it's Howard, then you could move Henrique to the left wing. You could move Tomasic to center ice, and you can play Roslovic on the right wing, or you could move Frederick down. He's on the right wing anyway. So I don't think it's anybody like Savoy, Nugent Hopkins. Obviously not Mangiapane. He scored a great goal. No. So
listen, it's a hard team to make now. All of a sudden, this guy's an everyday player. I need a fresh look at Jack Roslovic. I remember covering the Jets for a while since the playoffs, and he was around, and they were talking about him like he was the greatest thing ever coming out of. Went to University in Ohio, I think Bowling Green maybe. He was, Jason, and this is 10 years ago, so it doesn't apply anymore. But I think he was picked 15th overall by the Jets.
25th.
25th, excuse me. I knew there was a 5 in there. 25th overall, first round pick. Everyone thinks their first round pick is going to be a superstar. He was a guy that came out of the American, that development program they have where they have the killer world junior team.
Yeah.
And there's tons of guys that are overrated coming out of there.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's such a good team. Everyone on that team looks great because it's like a world junior team that plays together all year. He was completely overrated when he came out of there. But now it's 10 years later. He's found his way. He's fast. He's strong. He can score when he plays with score. He's not a bad player, right? He's not a first-round pick the Jets thought they'd get, but he's not a bad player. He's a veteran now. He's got 550 games. So he can absolutely make Edmonton better, and someone is not going to be in this lineup behind him. He's better. He's not the 12th guy on this team, Jay, right?
No.
He's not the 12th guy on this team. Someone's going to lose their job when he comes to town.
Yeah. Well, and then you throw in, then you got Wallman when he comes off IR, they got to make a move, which is probably going to be a defenseman. That would be obvious. You don't need a D-man. Then Janmark comes off, you're going to have to move a forward. Hyman comes off, you're going to have to move 2 forwards because of cap space. So it's going to be pretty interesting. All the moves here. Now Hyman's not coming back till the earliest November 1st because of LTIR. Right, he's got to be off for 10 games and 24 days, and he would come off the 25th day would be Halloween. They don't play till November 1st. So the first day he can come back and play is November 1st, which means he'll miss at least 12 games. And so basically, Spec, you've got some guys here who've got 11 more games to ensure that they're going to be on the roster, assuming everybody stays healthy.
Well, and if you decide that you want to keep these young kids up here, and frankly, I think you do, you want if Philp's treading water, if Philp's playing well, I want Philp to play. He's a young up and coming guy. If Savoy's holding his own and playing well, I don't want to send him to Bakersfield. He's been there. Howard, he hasn't been there, so he may be a candidate. But my point is, if the young kids play well, they may have trying to send a veteran to Bakersfield is sometimes difficult. Either you lose them on waivers or whatever. Maybe you got to make a trade. I don't know, but they have too many guys. They have too many guys here, and something's got to happen. Something's going to crack.
For sure. Spec, enjoy it. Go watch your Cubbies. Actually, no, we'll see you at dinner later on tonight. So
we'll see you at dinner. Don't forget.
Don't bring your phone.
Yeah, well, okay. All right, thanks, Jay.
There you go. That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. When we come back, Cody Fajardo will join us. It's playoff week for the green and gold. How does he feel about his team? We'll find out next on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit PlayAlberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Edmonton Elks Campus Clash is back, presented by Innova. October 11th versus the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, featuring $18 student tickets, food and drink specials, after party at O'Byrne's Ice District, and you could win a trip to Cancun. Tickets at GoElks.com.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Ah, Hawaii. The warmth of a golden sunset as the waves roll in. The freshness of a waterfall. The lush scent of tropical flowers in the air. You don't need to travel to enjoy all Hawaii has to offer. You just need to order pizza. Bring Hawaii home with the Aloha Trio, available for a limited time at Papa John's. Try our classic Hawaiian, super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken for just $19.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Mission Rail and Auctioneering's 3-day Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved equipment auctions are next Friday at 9 a.m., featuring a large selection of surplus municipal graders plus backhoes, dozers, wheel loaders, man lifts, skid steers, telehandlers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at maauctions.com.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Strudling. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from Los Angeles and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters, you can attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Fernando Pisani, Kelly Buckberger, Ron Lowe, Gene Principe, Jack Michaels, Louis DeBrusque, and more. There's still time to get in on every hockey fan's dream cruise. Book now and save $500 per couple. The Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. Price started at just $23.99. Part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton. Call 1-833-347-7678. Call now to book and save $500 per cabin when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. That's cast.tours, 1-833-347-7678.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next 3-day Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved industrial auctions are next Thursday and Friday at 9 a.m. These major events include multiple lanes selling a large selection of multi-purpose trucks, equipment, and commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantor. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantor's products not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
5:30. Hey, what did we talk about earlier in the week? Who did we say, if you're in a fantasy league, con man, who is going to get a lot of time on that first unit power play in Tampa Bay? Mr. Bjorkstrand. And guess what? First Tampa Bay game, power play goal, boom. Bjorkstrand scores it. Now it's early. It's early, but if you're playing fantasy for the week, you might want to check that out. So look it up. Hopefully you added them. We continue on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, and it's time to go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical, their 53rd year in business. Project, service, testing, solar, specialize in all of them, and they're hiring second, third, and fourth year electricians. If you're looking for a great gig, send your resume, careers at actionelectrical.net. As we are joined by the starting quarterback of the green and gold. It is what I like to term as a playoff week. The Elks win and they stay in the race. They need a win against the Blue Bombers. Even better if it's a win by 14 points or more, then they win the tiebreaker. But they're focused more on a win, I would think, as Cody joins us now. Cody, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Hey, excellent. Before we get to football, do you have a baseball team you grew up rooting for? Were you a Dodgers fan?
No, those burn my ears. I'm an Angels fan, and it's been some tough years for me as an Angels fan, having two of the best players in the world, and you can't even find yourself in the playoffs. So I've been through some painful years. Here's the thing about being an Angels fan. They won the World Series in 2002 when I was a young buck, and you thought every year was going to be a great year, and that was start of the bad years after that.
Yeah, well, as somebody who's won a championship, you know, it's a lot harder than you think to do it once, never mind to do it twice or three times.
Yeah, without a doubt. And you have a more understanding for it, but I'm not really diehard about very many pro sports. Like, I don't have a pro football team, pro basketball team, pro hockey team, but baseball is something just growing up and watching Angels Stadium Friday night fireworks from my backyard. It was just like, it's fun to me and close to me, but it's been some rough years watching those guys play some ball recently.
Awesome. Well, does it feel like a playoff week for you?
Man, against Sask was a playoff week for us. I think we're in playoff mode. We've been in playoff mode since that Sask game. We knew that there was a lot of implications on that game. Just to give ourselves a chance. What I'm really proud about with this team is we have fought, we have scratched, we have clawed our way to play meaningful football at this point in the season, after where we were to where we are now. And so to be able to come back off of that bye week, knowing that we still have hope and we still kind of have the pen in our hands, so to speak, to write our own destiny, is all you can ask for as a professional athlete, especially when we felt like we weren't playing our best ball at the beginning of the year. So to have this opportunity, and I think it's just going to bode well for this team to be able to play these big games week after week after week. So if we do find ourselves in that playoff berth, that we've already played essentially 4 weeks of playoffs going into that week.
Cody Fajardo joined us, and it can. I'm sure it's I'm not delusional to think that guys aren't professional, but there are some weeks that are a little easier to focus on, and there's just energy, and you feed off of excitement. And when there's more excitement around, it's just easier sometimes. And that's there right now. There's also an increased focus usually when you get close to the playoffs, whether you're already guaranteed a spot in or you're fighting to playoff spot. When you see that as a quarterback, how can you take that emotion and put it in the positive lane so it helps your team come Saturday?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is everything gets magnified as you get later in the year and you're playing more meaningful games. And sometimes when you have a younger roster, it's I think people and our players need to understand that sometimes the common mistake that was made in week 3, week 4, week 7 is magnified to a different level when you're playing playoff football. And so you don't want to play, clenched up and tight and afraid to make a mistake, but you also don't want to play on this extremely high of like, oh, I have to be super focused. Everything has to be perfect. So you got to find that happy balance. Fortunately for me, I've been able to play in playoff atmosphere games and those types of got to have it games. And we had that 2 weeks ago. I think the bye week was good for us after going 10 straight, which is really hard to do in professional football, to go, have that week off to kind of re-energize ourselves, get healthy again, and then come back knowing what's in front of us. I think the guys are ready for the challenge, but everything's just going to get magnified just a little bit more in this game. And we got to find a way to win the game and not play to try not to lose, so to speak, just more to play to win the football game.
What did you take away from the Saskatchewan game? Because you guys, I actually thought the Hamilton-Toronto games, for 95% of it, you guys played really well. You just couldn't close out the game and down the stretch. But was that just the difference, Cody, that your team close game again, but this time you closed out?
Yeah, I'll say this. I think home game is a big difference in those 2 Ontario games that we played. Playing Hamilton and Toronto, in the CFL and in professional sports, you have to win your home games. Like, there's a lot of talented football teams in this league, and you have to be able to win at home. And that's what we've been able to do, is win the last 3 games at home. But when you're on the road, we just got to find ways to close out games. So our schedule kind of leans in that favor. We have 2 of our last 3 at home. What I'll say about our last 3 home games have been the 3 best turnout games that our fans have been a part of. And so there's no coincidence that those are, changing the game when it's a little bit harder for the opposing offense to operate when it's loud in the fourth quarter and got to have it moments. Sometimes the away team just feels the pressure of that and everybody around them. And so we need everybody to be out on Saturday night. I think the weather is going to hold off and be pretty nice for us. So I think there's no coincidence, like I said, that playing at home and playing meaningful football games at home speaks to us wanting to close out and wanting to get to where we want to go. We have to do it in front of our fans, and we're going to need our fans for 2 of those three games down the stretch.
Cody Fajardo joins us. Cody, you've seen the Bombers before. There's a team that knows how to win, right? It's 5 consecutive appearances in the Grey Cup. That's what makes this test even more exciting, because I know you always want to beat the best. And right now, because, hey, they've been there for 5 straight years, they're the most consistent franchise in the CFL. What, from having watched them and having played against them in big games, what is it that makes them so hard to beat?
Yeah, I feel it's kind of funny. I feel like my whole career has been meaningful football games against the Bombers. At some point late in the year, it's like, seems like it always comes down to those games against the Bombers. I think they have really good veteran leadership. I think their coaching staff knows how to believe in their players and their roster. I think they never hit the panic button. Like, they're a team last year that started 0-5 and won the Western Division. This year, same thing. Everybody said, oh, they fell off, and now they're streaking at the right time. So their defense is playing really good football right now. I think offensively we have our hands full. They just held a Hamilton offense that's been, kind of pumping on all cylinders all year to 3 points. So we know the challenge ahead, but I think what gives us the most confidence going into this game is we've played with the best teams in this league, and we've beat some of the best teams in this league, and we've taken the best teams in this league down to the wire. So we know we can play with anybody. We know that home field advantage is going to be a huge advantage for us. Both teams coming off a bye week, which is a little bit unique as well. But this is a team that we're going to have to throw our haymakers. We're going to take a few hits. We're going to have to continue to punch. And find a way to be in it late in the 3-minute game and find a way to close them out. And that's the only way to do it against a really good Bombers team that has had so much success over the last 5 years.
Cody, your offense, the progression of it, obviously Justin Rankin, huge part of your team, signed a 2-year extension to stay with the organization earlier this week. And he's been a big play guy. And you got to find ways to get him the ball, whether it's handing him off or, sometimes you can just throw a 6-yard pass and he runs it the rest of the way. That's obviously a great asset to have. As the quarterback, are you conscious of saying, hey, we got to call plays to make sure that Rankin's getting the ball? How do you balance that in the huddle?
Well, fortunately for me, I'm not the offensive coordinator, so I don't have to go through those pains of figuring out how to find a way to get him the ball. But I think Coach McSinnick does a great job of when we have found ways to, if we were stalling a little bit in the run game, we've found a way to get the ball in Rankin's hands through the pass game, or, if the pass game isn't holding up, we're able to run the ball. And so what I've been super proud of this offense is we have found ways to win football games in multiple facets. And we've been able to run the ball to win. We've been able to pass the ball to win. We've been a mixed bag on offense to try and win. There's some defenses that we've played that have been really good. And, it hasn't looked great for 3 quarters. We treaded water, kept the game close. And then in the fourth quarter kind of took over and caught our stride, right? So we found ways on offense to just get better each and every week. And with the young guys we've had earlier in the years, particularly in our receiving core, with every rep that they've gotten so much better. And these games that have came down to the nail biters and the walk-off field goals or the walk-off late field goal we hit or touchdown we hit, those are all things that we're going to have to withdraw from that mental bank in games like this, knowing that we've been in those situations. We've been in about every situation you can put a team in throughout the course of the season. And so we're going to have to withdraw from that bank and play with some confidence against a really good team. But this offense can beat you in multiple ways. We just got to protect the football and can't give their offense, who's got Zach Caleros, who's I got a lot of respect for, a veteran quarterback in this league, can't find a way to give them extra possessions because that's going to make it tough on our defense.
Now, I know you don't call the plays, Cody, but obviously sometimes you're you got to, hey, this is what we're calling, but then somehow it's taken away and I look for it. So do you subconsciously, though, look at times, like I'm sure the OCs understands that we're trying to get Rankin the ball as much as we can, but does that ever come into play where all of a sudden one play's dead and you're just like, well, where's Rankin? Like, do you think about that when you have a player that's dynamic?
Not in this offense. It's really hard in this offense. This offense is a pure progression offense, meaning that there's a read system that I have to go through. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And most of the time, late in the progression is usually the running back. So the times I do in the back of my mind, like, hey, get Rankin the ball, is if I feel pressure quickly and Rankin's able to get out. It's probably the easiest completion and quickest completion point that I can get the ball to somebody without taking a sack. So the CFL is very progression based, like I was talking about. So I tell the receivers all the time, I said, look, if I can cut the ball in 5 different pieces and give everybody one catch on every play, I would do it. It's just impossible. In some games, one guy is just, the defense is going to naturally allow that guy to get more catches, more yards. And some guys are going to go off for 10 catches, 100 yards, and some guys are going to have one catch for 3 yards. So you never know when your day is going to be, but having a guy like Rankin, there's a few times in the back of my mind where, like you talked about, if we are finding ourselves stalling a little bit or they're getting good pressure on us, sometimes dumping it off to him and making him just go one-on-one with someone, I'll bet on him beating somebody one-on-one every single time. And I've seen him do it. It's really hard to make that first guy to tackle him. So that's pretty much the only way I can dictate getting him the ball is usually pressure is the best way to do it.
Okay. Lastly, one for you, Cody. The approach to this, tomorrow. It's the walkthrough for the game. You're getting ready. It's a playoff game. The crowd's going to be loud. The crowd, you guys have obviously kind of helped bring the crowd back into cheering for their team. Where do you come out on, like, is good start that noticeable against a team like the Bombers? Is it imperative, or do you feel like as long as we don't necessarily have to dominate, or as long as we just don't fall behind? What's more important against the Bombers?
Yeah, I think it's important to start fast. And the reason why is we're both coming off a bye week. And so I believe the team that has the best chance to win on Saturday is the team that gets in the fastest rhythm. sometimes when you go on a bye week, you know, when the bullets start flying on that first game back from the bye week, you're a little bit hesitant to do certain things, or you just doesn't feel like practice is one thing, but when you get out there and it's full bullets flying. So sometimes I think coming off of a bye, when you can get off to a fast start and kind of feel that rhythm quicker, I think it bodes well for your team the rest of the game. Now, that's every game's its own entity. So sometimes, like I said, in Sask, offensively, I felt like we treaded water, and exploded in the fourth quarter. So starting fast doesn't always mean winning football games, but it does set yourself up to get in rhythm faster and to play a cleaner game for 4 quarters than if you do happen to start slow and then you're playing from behind and you're just cutting it loose. So I believe that starting fast in playoff atmosphere is always pretty important, because you want to jump on teams early to give yourself confidence and kind of crush their hope or get them out of their game plan. You know, they have Brady Oliveira. The guy was the MOP and MOC last year. So any chance you can get the Bombers playing from behind and take their run game out, I think it bodes well for our football team.
Well, Cody, always great to catch up with you, man. I always appreciate your candor and your honesty, and best of luck Saturday against the Bombers and what should be a heck of a game.
I appreciate you. Thanks for having me on the show, and happy Thanksgiving weekend.
You betcha. There's a Cody Fajardo, big Angels fan. Love it. So we'll take a quick break. We'll come back, wrap things up. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Cougar, Sports 1440. Sports1440.ca is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicks things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe that life shouldn't hurt. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't know that sometimes it really hurts. I mean, we've seen people at their worst moments in life, when they feel they have nowhere to turn, or at a time when they felt like their problem just wouldn't ever go away. We've also seen people who thought to themselves, it'll just go away on its own, or this is no big deal. I don't want to bother anyone about this. Don't know where to turn to, or think it's no big deal. Either way, we have the technology, techniques, and skills to help you get back to it, whatever your it may be. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
At Fountain Tire, we're fluent in saving you money. Fluent? Yes, we've mastered the language of deals. Like right now, you can save up to 25% off select tires and up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires. Plus, $50 off $150 service when you buy those tires. All until October 18th.
I'm sorry, I don't speak deals.
Spend less, save more when you buy round black things from us.
Oh, got it.
Restrictions apply. Book your appointment online today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
It's Midnight Madness at the Brick. Stores close Friday to lower prices, then reopen at 5 p.m. with incredible 7-hour deals. The first 10 customers get $50 to spend on anything in store. Score free local delivery when you spend $4.99 or more. Plus, buy any TV or appliance and get a $50 credit to spend on furniture, decor, or mattresses. And take 5 years, pay with 0 interest on your Flexity card. OAC terms and conditions apply. See in-store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
When you have lifting and material handling needs, Northwest Crane delivers. Western Canada's Sani dealer, backed by the industry's toughest one. 3 years, 3,000 hours, no compromises. They service all crane makes and models with skilled technicians and deep industry expertise. Alberta owned, with locations in Leduc and Grand Prairie, and fully equipped service trucks. Northwest Crane keeps your operation lifting. For more information on sales or service, visit northwestcrane.com or call today.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Step into fall with Husqvarna and the Lawnmower Hospital. Husqvarna has chainsaws for the homeowner, farmer, rancher, or professional, available in battery or gas-powered models. Take care of leaves quickly with the power of Husqvarna blowers. You'll find it all at the Lawnmower Hospital, and you can see the full selection at lawnmowerhosp.com.
We're more than repairs. We're more than mowers. The Lawnmower Hospital.
Why pay dealership prices when you can get the same quality for less? Hi, it's Lisa, and here at Ed's Auto Salvage, we've been Alberta's trusted source for used auto parts for nearly 50 years. From engines to mirrors, transmissions to tires,
We've got it all at prices guaranteed to keep your wallet happy. Shop local, shop smart. Shop Ads Auto Salvage in Westlock. Be sure to visit us online at adsautosalvage.com and get your vehicle back on the road for less.
From the locker room to your radio, Sports 1440 is Edmonton's sports leader. Real talk, big personalities, and your texts. It's interactive. It's fun. It's where Edmonton talks sports. Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation. Check out the new website, elksnation.ca. Articles, podcasts, and more breaking down the green and gold. The most in-depth AA football coverage online, elksnation.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$5.50 as we wrap up. Busy Thursday afternoon, man. You got lots going on in the sporting world. Of course, in MLB, you have the Phillies trying to stave off elimination. In a little bit of trouble here, man. Bryce Harper, foul ball. Just didn't track it. And that gives a little extra life here as the Dodgers have runners on first and third. They lead that series. They're in the bottom of the sixth, and it's no score right now. But 2 outs. This could be a huge one. If they don't get that out, Harper's going to be having nightmares. Because he was right there, Cons. I don't know if he leaned over the railing and he basically just missed the ball. So if the Dodgers are able to take advantage of that, like usually if you give a team an extra out, lots of times and come back to hurt you later on tonight. Getting going at 7:08 our time. You have the Cubbies and the Brewers. Tomorrow, Detroit, Seattle. And the Jays know who they're going to play on. And the Phillies got out of it. Huge. The Jays will find out tomorrow night who they play. Meanwhile, you got the Elks Saturday at 5. The Oilers Canucks Saturday at 8. Probably get to see Jack Roslovic make his Oilers debut. He'll be on the ice tomorrow for practice. So we'll find out who he's skating with. Somebody's got to come out of the lineup for him to come into the lineup. Tomorrow, Jake Wallman's been moved to IR, so that frees up the spot. Now, it's retroactive, so he could be back for Game 3. We'll see, but it's a slight concern. Now, Jake said himself he wasn't concerned, but I've seen guys, well, it's 1 week that turns into 2, that turns into a month. So hopefully it doesn't become that serious for Jake Wallman. Also, you have NFL tonight. Connor Halley, what do you expect? Like, can the Giants make this a game, or is this just hey, you got the defending champs and they're defending champs? Is AJ Brown going to do something?
Well, I mean, hey, if you complain enough, maybe eventually they look your way. I would think so. I mean, at some point he's got to get going here. Why not against the New York Giants? It's going to be tough for the Giants in this one, obviously. Down already Malik Neighbors. Now you're not going to have Slayton. So, yeah, they've got some injuries there, which aren't going to help them. But they get Tracy back. So, maybe for the New York Giants, the game plan is let's just try to run the football with Ian Scabadoo and just hope we can get the job done. But, yeah, it's going to be tough. The Philadelphia Eagles are just such a good football team. And I know they didn't get the job done against the Denver Broncos of the weekend, but that's a good Broncos team. I don't think the New York Giants are in that category. So, yeah, I will tell you this, Gregor, my confidence is high enough that they are my pick for the survivor pool this week.
The Giants are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. A Montreal rookie. Everybody thought a rookie would have a great start. Oliver Kapanen, 2 goals in 2 games for the Montreal Canadiens. They lead 3-1 after 20 minutes. Also, Mr. Kucherov has his first goal of the season as that Tampa Bay Lightning power play. We talked about it, man. It's looking really good. They got 2 goals in the first period tonight. And Mr. Schaefer, the youngster, has his first point in the NHL for the Islanders. Young defenseman, that guy can absolutely fly. You've got Taylor Hall, former Oiler, has scored his first goal of the season as they lead 1-0. And games tonight, if you want to watch the late one, Flames are in Vancouver. Oilers going to take on the Canucks on Saturday. This is 14 games in the NHL tonight, and then none tomorrow. I have to say, I'm a big fan of it. I love it. I think nights off in the league are good because it creates a little bit of, that's why the NFL is so dominant. You play and then people are like, oh my God, I want more, I want more, I want more. Playing every night in the NHL, I actually don't think it's good. I think the fact that no game on Friday, there's only one on Sunday, 14 on Thursday, 16 on Saturday. I think it's good, Cons. It's a little late to get your thoughts on it, but tomorrow we'll get your thoughts. Are you yay or nay for all or nothing for the NHL? I'm a big fan of it. We'll see. Coming up tomorrow, we got lots of Oiler talk. We'll be previewing the Elks. We're talking MLB, talking NFL. It's going to be awesome. And big announcement in the morning show. Tune in for that all day long, actually. Not only can you hear it, but you can see it. You might want to, here's my hint, you might want to watch the YouTube feed at some point tomorrow, or definitely follow our socials because you'll see the pics. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. Let's get to our Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter. LegacyHeating.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Okay, so missed the Edmonton Oilers replaced Jake Wallman on the IR. They'll keep him out for at least another week. On the ice right now, after 20 minutes, he got the Bruins and the Blackhawks tied at 1 apiece. Rangers up on the Sabres 1-0. Canadians beating up on the Red Wings 3-1. Lightning doing the same to the Sens, also 3-1, and scoreless in Florida between the Panthers and the Flyers midway through the first. Canes have a 1-0 lead over the Devils. Later tonight, you got the Blues and the Wild, Jackets in Nashville, Jets host the Stars, Mammoth up against the Avs, Flames, Canucks, Sharks host the Golden Knights, and the Ducks in Seattle. In the Major League Baseball playoffs, scoreless right now between the Dodgers and the Phillies. That one is in the top of the 7th. LA leading that series 2-1. Coming up in about an hour and 10 minutes, you got the Cubs and the Brewers meeting in Chicago, with Milwaukee in that series 2-1. NFL Week 6 kicks off this evening in Jersey, Giants and Eagles, 6:15 start time. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, it's Fox Sports Radio, live local coverage resumes tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. with Kevin Carius. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio